Is the team. It's Courtois, then Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger, Moses, Fabregas, Conte, Drinkwater and Alonso, with Hazard supporting Morata in attack, as Eduardo, Pedro, Tim Wenger.
Hello people, welcome to my live stream. It is Chelsea v Arsenal at 8 PM, and see you later. Goodbye.
Is on the bench. Mesut Özil out with an injury. Koscielny, Kolasinac still missing. Mustafi had a bit of a knock. Granit Xhaka was doubtful, but both those two play. It's Ospina in goal, Chambers, Mustafi and Holding. Then Bellerin, Wilshere, Xhaka and Maitland-Niles, Iwobi and Welbeck, and then Lacazette in attack.
We'll have a good look at Chelsea in a short while. We'll also get the very latest between Conte and Mourinho. Before that, though, let's take a look at some of the latest transfer news, and some of it does include Arsenal as well, with Toolstation.
Transfer window update on TalkSport with Toolstation. Transfer to Toolstation for no out-of-stock shocks. Check availability online at toolstation.com. We've got what you need when you need it.
We touched on it before, Matt. Coquelin, who's been here for nearly a decade now at Arsenal, is on his way to Spain and to Valencia.
Yeah,
12 million?
Passes you 12 million. Well, so we believe. Yeah, we're led to believe that the 12 million fee's been agreed, and he's going to go to Valencia. Yeah, Francis Coquelin.
Yeah. What about who else? There was other interest actually from I think the likes of West Ham for Cazorla as well, but can understand why he's decided for Coquelin, not for Cazorla.
I'm a bit surprised actually. You know, £12 million is quite cheap for a player of someone who's played in the Premier League quite a lot. Is it?
He's only 26 as well.
Yeah.
But there we are.
Not that Valencia have got that much money, to be honest. So.
No. Who else? I mean, Giroud, is he going to be here next season?
Don't know. I have no idea, to be honest. I mean, I think there's one or two that probably need a fresh challenge.
The big two are Sanchez.
And is that
with him?
He's on the bench,
Özil,
as you mentioned, and is that for those just joining us now? So you know, it was definitely said that he was going to be playing tonight, wasn't it, Sanchez?
Well, like I said before, you know, I thought he was going to play today. I think Matt and I spoke to a number of people downstairs who all believed he was going to play. It was only in the last hour or so that it started to emerge that he might not be in the starting 11. I think it's big news that he's not starting tonight. Why would you not start the best player in your squad in a cup semi-final that you've got to win, you've got to save face in after losing to Nottingham Forest last week, falling out of the top four, and you're not in the Champions League this year. So you've got to start with your best team. You've got to come here and try and get a result. Does he think he's not as disciplined as some of the others? I don't believe that for a second. I think that even if he was going to play a little bit more cautiously tonight, you don't play Lacazette, you play Sanchez up top on his own, because ultimately he's more of a goal threat, especially recently. I mean, Lacazette hasn't scored for 7 games.
Good point. Just another player that I saw one or two things about today, and no confirmation of anything on this, but Christian Pavon, the Boca Juniors winger, he's only 21, the Argentine, and apparently Arsenal would pay the £27 million release clause.
They've got the money to do that, haven't they? I mean, again, he likes to buy young players and try and develop them. I mean, he's bought in Constantino Mavropanos, who looks as if he's going to make his debut at some point tonight. He's on the bench this evening. He's 20 years of age. He comes from Greece. He was at Giannina in Athens, just outside Athens, and he's a tall, strong centre-back, and they hope he's one for the future.
Well, it's a transfer that's gone through, but it mentions Chelsea, and while we're here, I just want to get Matt's thoughts on it as well. Ross Barkley, the mayor of Liverpool, still going on about it. He wants all sorts of people. He's written to everybody to investigate that because of the difference in the fee from the end of the season to where we are now, and I can see that in one respect. As far as
value comes down, doesn't it?
Value does come down anyway, but the nearer you get to the end of a contract, and also because of Bosman and everything, perhaps he doesn't understand that. But he's asked everybody that he wants to find out if there was anything wrong with that. But what about Ross Barkley when he gets fit again? Does he fit into a Chelsea side? Why have they bought him?
Well, he's a young player who's immensely talented, and obviously Antonio Conte feels as though he can get the best out of him. The big question is, how many games are you going to play between now and the end of the season? When you think about the competition and where he might play in this team, for instance, I mean, if he plays against the bigger sides, he tends to play 3 in midfield, doesn't he? So Fabregas, Kante, Drinkwater it is tonight, or Bakayoko. That'd be your 3, and he plays Hazard off Morata. In some of the other games, he plays just 2 holding midfield players, then he plays 2 in behind. Willian, Pedro, Hazard, whoever that might be. So he's got so much competition for the positions that he wants to play. You just wonder how much he's going to play between now and the end of the season. What I would say is, for that money, it represents good value.
15 million.
Well, it represents good value. If you have him for 18 months, 2 years, and it doesn't work out, you're going to get that. The big question is how many. Again, if you try and sell him on somewhere else.
Well, I think that's why
the business sense, is it?
Yeah, no, and I can see why the mayor of Liverpool's been going on about that. Who's now
he's
said
a deep
there is
Everton fan as well.
Yeah, but also I understand that. But he said today as well, following that article on the Times, that 7 million of that 15 million is an agent's fee. And I mean that's out there now on social media. I mean, if that is the case, that is unfair, isn't it, on the fans and everybody else who.
Well, and the club that have basically spent all that time developing the player.
Exactly. But there's nothing that we've seen we can do about that sort of thing at the moment. Anyway, there's just a little bit of the latest transfer news with Toolstation here on TalkSport.
Transfer window updates on TalkSport with Toolstation. Transfer to Toolstation for a great range of trade supplies at everyday low prices, with free next business day delivery for orders over £10. Visit toolstation.com to order and find your nearest branch.
Conte's a clown, Mourinho's a little man.
Because I don't behave as a clown on the touchline, it means that I lost my passion? I don't think you have to behave like a crazy guy on the touchline.
Maybe he was speaking about himself in the past. I think that someone forget.
I don't need the Chelsea manager to say that I made mistakes in the past.
When you try to offend a person or to hurt a person, it means that you are little man.
I was speaking about myself. Saying that I don't need to behave as a clown to show passion, that I control my emotions in a better way.
I have this look, a person that regret. I don't think so. I think that he said a serious words. He used the serious words, and I won't forget this.
My mother scolded, now it's time that you learn what it meant to be mature.
Me and him in one room, me and him. I don't know if he is ready to meet me in one room, me and him.
I think we should get him on the undercard of the Hey Bellio, don't you? That's what we should do at TalkSport. We've got that fight coming up. That'd be rather nice, wouldn't it? I mean, is this just all part of the soap opera? Do we take any of this seriously now? They've fallen out, but do we just think, it's just part of it, they'll get back together again and have a drink behind the scenes or not?
No, they're not. They certainly won't be having a drink behind the scenes. I think from what we've heard and read in the last sort of couple of weeks, to be honest, I've had enough of it, if I'm honest. I mean, all that matters is what goes out on the pitch, not what goes on off it. Clearly they don't get on, but you have to draw a line under it somewhere. Every time they get asked about it, they seem to have another answer and another backbite at the opposition. So personally, I've had enough of it. Move on.
There's bigger things for them both to worry about. However, I think it suits both of them at the moment for that to be taking the headlines than where their clubs are. I mean, you look, Chelsea now, they drew at Norwich at the weekend. Chelsea have got to face a replay. They've been playing 2 games a week for the last 8 weeks. It's going to be at least another 3 before they come away from doing that. They've got a big game tonight against Arsenal as well. It's big for them just as much as it is for Arsene Wenger and his club. They've got Barcelona in the Champions League. Now look, I'm not saying they won't get past Barcelona. They've got past them before, but it ain't going to be easy to do that. In the midst of those Barcelona games, by the way, Chelsea are slated to play Manchester City and Manchester United away from home. So, in terms of difficult periods, and it could be the Carabao Cup final, it could be for them as well around that time. So, in terms of difficult periods, January and February are really, really big for Chelsea. They too could find themselves in a situation where their season isn't over, but it could be sort of ambling along by the time we get to the middle of February. So, and Jose Mourinho as well. Everyone's fighting for second place now. The idea of chasing Manchester City, I'm afraid, is gone. No one believes that there's any possibility of it. So the narrative has got to change. And I suppose in those circumstances, they don't want it to focus on their problems that they've got with their teams. They'd rather it be.
No, they're all. You're right. They're all getting irritated with each other because Pep Guardiola's stolen a march on all of them. And he doesn't even have to look over his shoulder anymore, really.
The problem is that, I mean, he said it doesn't matter, I don't want to get the LMA involved. Antonio Conte said that yesterday. But
he said it was personal, nothing to do with the two clubs.
The longer it goes on, the longer it sort of casts a negative light on things. And then the more the results aren't going their way, the more you're sort of asking for someone to do something about it. And
do you know what?
At this club, you don't need any invitation for that to happen.
It's 5 or 6 weeks before they play each other. Do you know, talk about it in the build-up to that game. I'll tell you what, start on Monday for that game. And then, up until then, concentrate on your job and get on with it. Simple as that.
I take it all with a pinch of salt, really. I think you got to at the end. I know that you say that they're not happy, and everybody here and will be watching every move when they're up against each other again. But it sort of it shows what it's like, though, now, isn't it? I mean, there is a reality show involved in football in the same way as what goes on and what goes off the pitch. It's 24/7.
You've got to, and the other thing is, it's almost like you've got to stay in the news, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
They've got to stay in the news. They've got to be spoken about. They've got to be the person that is topping the news agenda. And if they're not topping the news agenda, they'll do something about it to make sure that they are. Sometimes that does definitely come into it. Yeah, but you don't give people excuses. Don't give people excuses to either not do their job, to the players not to do their job because they don't feel you're focused. I mean, Matt and I talked about it at the weekend, and I said to him, is there any justification here where you could turn around and say the Chelsea players didn't perform today because he wasn't concentrating on the job in hand, he was worrying about Mourinho? And you said to me, absolutely not. But does it get to a point where at some stage the players start thinking, he's going crackers here, what is he doing? He keeps going on about the same thing over and over again. Does that ever happen?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, from my point of view, looking at, I'm not one of the Chelsea players now.
I'm not saying he's going crackers, but he's repeating a lot of the same
exactly
things.
Exactly that. From my point of view, every time he gets asked about it, he's got an answer to it, and he gives them an answer.
But he knows what he's going to say.
If you get asked about Jose Mourinho, just say, look, we're playing Man United in 5 weeks' time. We're playing Arsenal tonight. Don't ask me about Jose Mourinho.
I know.
Ask me about Arsene Wenger. Ask me about Arsenal. Ask me about my team, how I'm going to play. Don't ask me about Jose Mourinho.
I get it. Conte, I know exactly the sort of personality he is. I think he's doing a great job here anyway. It's tough. It's very tough, as it should be for all these guys at the top. Let's talk a little bit about Chelsea, if we may now. I want to talk a little bit about Danny Drinkwater. There he is now, back quietly going about his business, got himself into the midfield. Is he part of the World Cup plans once more for England, do you think? Because he sort of was discarded, really, wasn't he?
Big second half of the season.
Well,
a big second half of the season, isn't it, for Danny Drinkwater? I think it's probably going to be difficult, if I'm totally honest. Having said that, having watched Bakayoko the last few weeks and the last few times, I haven't been overly impressed. I think he's struggled to adapt a little bit to life in the Premier League. The pace of it, the amount of games maybe has caught up with him a touch. His passing's been off. So, I mean, tonight you expect it. I probably expected Bakayoko to play alongside Conte and Fabregas. That's not the case. Drinkwater plays. In actual fact, we were at Norwich at the weekend, and neither of them played particularly well, Bakayoko or Danny Drinkwater. So I suppose it was a bit of a toss-up as to which one got the nod, and Drinkwater gets the chance. But it is a big second half of the season, and if he can string a run of games together, play well, you maybe come the World Cup, he's in Gareth Southgate's thoughts. But at the moment, I think he's probably a bit off it.
He didn't play well enough on Saturday, really, to sort of shine. He's got an opportunity tonight against Arsenal. I think he's done all right on a couple of occasions that I've seen him. He scored a brilliant goal against Stoke City in the game here, but he needs to play on a regular basis. He had a slow start to his Chelsea career, mainly because of the injury that he picked up before he came to the club. And as I think we mentioned with Ross Barkley, there is now a bit more competition in that area. Before he joined, there wasn't enough competition in that area, and when if Conte got injured or if Fabregas got injured, then there was a bit of an issue in that central midfield battalion. But now there's a few more faces in there, so he's got to prove his worth, and he's in the team tonight, and that's a big step.
What do you expect from Chelsea tonight there, with just looking at their makeup with Fabregas and Drinkwater, as we mentioned there, and Kante, with Morata, who I like when he's on form, and he's having a good season for me, and he's going to get you the goals. You've got to watch it.
One thing I should have said there is that Drinkwater's ahead of Bakayoko tonight.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely ahead of him now.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Bakayoko gives the ball away too much. Yeah. Bakayoko hasn't performed over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And on merit, Drinkwater is therefore edged ahead of him. So, I mean, I think from Chelsea's point of view, they'll be hoping that they retain the ball a little bit better than they did against Norwich tonight. You mentioned Morata. I know that Matt's been watching him a little bit closely.
No, I like him as well. I think technically he's a very good footballer, but the last couple of times he's had about 5 one-on-ones and not taken them. I mean, you watch him in the air. He's lethal in the air. I mean, his heading abilities.
Is it when he doesn't have time to think about it? Is he one of those?
I don't know, because look at his hat-trick at Stoke. Was it Stoke? Was it Stoke earlier in the season? And he had time then. He went through one-on-ones and took those opportunities. So I don't know whether it's that. Maybe it's just a period he's going through. I guess tonight will be an interesting one, won't it? If he gets that chance, that one-on-one over the top, in on goal, and how he's feeling. That
all eyes will be on him.
2, 3, 4 seconds, and he's thinking about it. Is he thinking about it, and what happens? So he needs one to go in, doesn't he? And you think that confidence might return for him.
Yeah, he does. So what do you think tonight? Are we going to see an open game? Are we going to see them go at it? They're not going to think 2 legs here. We'll wait for the second leg.
Don't know.
Don't want to make a mistake. Or
well, that's it.
It's full on.
I don't know, because under Arsene Wenger, you don't often see his teams just try and play for a draw and take it to the second leg. That game 2 weeks ago was brilliant, because both teams just went for it. It'd be great if we saw that again tonight. I'm always cautious in first legs of matches that we're going to see an absolute blockbuster, because both teams are scared of losing it in the first leg. So because of that, I'm a bit more of the thought that it's going to be a bit of a tight, cagier affair. But as I say, under Arsene Wenger, you don't normally see that type of game. So hopefully we see a blockbuster.
Well, we're not too far away from it now. There's still an awful lot of people to get into the ground here tonight. I don't know what the situation is as far as a sellout tonight, but I was expecting a few more at the moment.
They're always coming a little bit later. We've still got 13 minutes, haven't we?
13 minutes, that's true to say. So we've got a little bit more of the time. They're going to have the usual wind them all up by putting out the lights and a bit of noise and a bit of hecticness and some flag waving. So we'll come back and we'll gather the atmosphere. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff here tonight. It's the first leg of the second semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Ian Abrahams is touchline side for us, within touching distance of Arsene Wenger in the same row on the press box. And your match commentary team here, high in the east, stand over the halfway line. Matt Holland and Sam Matterface. And it's next on Talk Sport.
The Winter Survival Deal from Domino's. Any large pizza, garlic pizza bread, wedges and cookies for $15.99. It's the official food of getting ready to go out on the town. But it's also the official food of getting ready to go into hibernation and see out the rest of the winter months wrapped in a duvet on the sofa, like some kind of domesticated millennial grizzly bear. Domino's, the official food of everything.
Subject to availability. Participating stores only. T's and C's apply. See dominoes.co.uk.
Are you stuck right now, going nowhere fast? It's not the congestion holding you back, or the endless red lights. It's the voice in your head. The voice that says, hit snooze. Or, do it tomorrow. Don't listen to that voice. Listen to mine. Find a workout that works for you at Virgin Active and pay nothing until February. Then this time tomorrow, you will feel magnificent. No excuses. Join by the 17th of January 2018 at virginactive.co.uk. 12-month minimum contract. Conditions apply.
Every new year, someone tells you what to do. The papers said get fit. Blogs said get more sleep. I say get lost in a country I've never been to. He said this, she said that. I say Arona. Do your thing with £1,000 off the list price of a new Seat, including the new Arona compact SUV at the Fresh Start Savings event. Download your £1,000 voucher at seat.co.uk to use on top of existing offers before 22nd of January.
Orders until 22nd January 2018. Car must be registered between 1st of January and 30th of September 2018. UK 18+. Retail sales of new cars at participating retailers only. Excludes £500 test drive and scrappage incentive scheme. T's and C's apply.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on Talk Sport with the Ford Ranger. It's the breakfast show that doesn't compromise on delivering the biggest names from the world of sport.
That's the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 a.m. Don't miss it.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6 on Talk Sport with the Ford Ranger. The comfort and style you'd expect from a car. The durability and practicality you'd demand from a pickup. Kick-off League Cup special.
A brilliant goal!
Live on Talk Sport.
It's coming up, it's coming up. It's there.
Just to let you know, one or two of the other big games we've got for you over the next few days. And on Friday, we're at the City derby or at Bramall Lane. It's Sheffield United against Sheffield Wednesday. Really looking forward to that one. Neil Redfern and Nigel Adderley, our commentary team, as always in the Championship on the Friday. So those games have just been fantastic. Saturday, by the time we get to Matchday Live, and Adrian Durham will have already found out whether Cardiff have beaten Sunderland in the commentary on TalkSport 2. That one gets underway at midday. And then at 3 o'clock, our commentary on TalkSport 2 from the Premier League is Newcastle United against Swansea. And then Sam and the team are at Spurs against Everton on Saturday night. And then we'll bring you Bournemouth against Arsenal in Sunday exclusive. And that's, of course, before we get anywhere near the replays next week. It's a big week next week, isn't it? We're all at Leicester.
On
Wednesday.
We are
with
Tuesday, Leicester.
Night. And the Wednesday night I'm off to Wigan, and you're down to Swansea. Commentary as well on that one.
Yeah,
been good, actually. The FA Cup's been good. I know we've had the problems with who's played and who's decided to leave what and everything, but we've got one or two decent replays and one or two decent games to come in the fourth round.
Well, you and I went to Liverpool on Friday night. Brilliant, great game.
That was
really enjoyed it. Saturday night, Matt and I were at Chelsea, Norwich, Chelsea.
Yep.
It wasn't a great game,
no,
but we still enjoyed it. And then Monday night, we were at Brighton Palace. And do you know what? It was weird because there was so much intrigue around the VAR stuff that maybe we sort of now forget the 70 minutes that led to, which was pretty dull, really. But the last 20 minutes was so good. And then we had the controversy at the end, or the non-controversy at the end. It just set out perfectly. It was really good. Looking forward to the replays next week.
Just to remind people joining us, and there are new listeners all the time on TalkSport, VAR here tonight, of course. So do we know who's? It was Neil Swarbrick, wasn't it?
It's Neil Swarbrick again, who is the assistant referee. Mick McDonough is his assistant. So the VAR is Neil Swarbrick. He's sitting in a room in Stockley Park. He's assisted by Mick McDonough, who's a long-time Premier League assistant. He's going to help him out. Here, the referee is Martin Atkinson, and the referee's in charge. The decisions that the referee make are the ones that stand unless there is a need to change it. The aim of the experiment, and it is a trial, it's an experiment. The professional game wanted this to happen. They brought it in, they're trialling it. The aim is not to achieve 100% accuracy, but to avoid clear and obvious errors. Minimum interference, maximum benefit.
Everyone's got their phones out at the moment, and they've all got the sparkly lights around the ground here as they've dimmed the main floodlights. And now we've got a flashing scene in front of us here. The 30 or so ground staff are still sorting things out after the rigorous one or two bits and pieces from particularly the Arsenal side in their warm-up tonight. Ian Abrahams is with us. Is this for an entrance in the press box of Arsene Wenger, do you think? That he's going to sneak it in under the darkness as opposed to the light?
He's not going to sneak in, Mark, because we all know he's coming. And I tell you what, there's such anticipation of Arsene Wenger being here. I don't think that the head of press at Arsenal, Mark Ganella, has been approached by so many journalists before a game and been asked in the press room about where Arsene's sitting and why he's sitting in the press box and what he's going to be doing there, and if he's going to have his mobile phone connected up to Steve Bold as it was on Sunday. He will do, so he will be in touch with the bench, which will be no more, I suspect, in about 10 or 15, 20 feet in front of him. But I have to say, he'll be surrounded by journalists, and as you said, I think about half an hour ago, we all just want to know what he's thinking about the game. I mean, I'm dying to go up to him at half-time over a cup of tea and a steak and ale pie and say, Arsene, what did you think in the first half, and this, that and the other. So it's going to be so funny having a Premier League manager sat almost within touching distance of me down here and not being able to talk to him.
Well, this is quite dramatic. It always is, with the flashing lights and the music and the sound and everybody standing on their feet, and it's got a lot fuller now, the Stamford Bridge scene. It's not completely full by any means, which is a disappointment once more. And now we have a bit of silence and a drum roll, and this is where the heartbeat begins to quicken the pulse, and we're thinking, we're at a semi-final. It's the first leg of this Carabao Cup semi-final, and down below us here, crossing the white line as captain of Arsenal tonight, is Jack Wilshere. They, of course, march to the other side of the ground, to the director's box, which is why Arsene Wenger is in the press box tonight. He's got to watch his P's and Q's in the press box as Arsene Wenger, because they'll snitch on him if he says anything blue. but then blue is the colour at Stamford Bridge. Here's Matt Holland and Sam Matterface.
Well, trouble brings trouble, and everyone's looking for trouble. It doesn't help when you bring it on yourself. It doesn't help if one of your players goes out partying until 2:37 a.m. the day before a game. It doesn't help if you've got to sit somewhere else. 5 points off the top four, out of the FA Cup. Arsenal's season could be over before February, the way things are going. But although it's nothing new, it might have more significant consequences this time. It certainly brings this game into focus. And yet, there is a game tonight. Even though all Antonio Conte has spoken about for a week is the previous incumbent of his office. Behind the pace in the Premier Leagues themselves, Chelsea have got Barcelona in the Champions League and needing a replay against Norwich. Trouble could well find him too, unless he's careful. This competition is vital to both Chelsea and Arsenal. Let's hope the second instalment of this January trilogy is as thrilling as the first. Chelsea make 9 changes from the side that drew with Norwich. Courtois is in goal. Afbilic away to Rudiger and Christensen, the back 3. Then it's Moses, Fabregas, Conte, Drinkwater and Alonso, and Hazard supporting Morata in attack. The substitutes: Eduardo, Pedro, Bakayoko, Zappacosta, Willian, Batshuayi and David Luiz. The Arsenal team makes 6 changes from the defeat at Nottingham Forest. Ospina is still in goal. He retains his place. He's played in all the competitions so far this campaign. Bellerin, Chambers, Mustafi, Holding and Maitland-Niles. Then Wilshere and Xhaka, Iwobi and Welbeck and Lacazette in attack. The bench: Macy, new signing Mavropanos. He's the central defender. Mertesacker, Nelson, El Neni, Walcott and Alexis Sanchez, who is not in the starting 11 by choice. There's no Mesut Ozil, but apparently he is injured. Alongside me, Matt Holland. With all the criticism that's been levelled against Arsene Wenger, could it possibly have a positive impact on his team tonight?
It wouldn't surprise me if they got a result. That tends to be the case under Arsene Wenger. You know, he has 2 or 3 bad results and all of a sudden he pulls one out from somewhere. Having said that, I think looking at the 2 teams, Chelsea on paper do look a lot stronger. Look, it's an interesting game. We saw a couple of weeks ago, both sides went for it and they ended up level, 2-2. It could have gone either way. I think this Chelsea's record at Stamford Bridge, I'd certainly edge towards them.
Martin Atkinson just about to get us off and underway. The last time we had a last-minute equaliser, a stoppage-time crossbar rattler. Alvaro Morata missing more one-on-ones than Wenger is missing games on the touchline. The action continues on the radio station that brings you over 500 games this season over TalkSport and TalkSport 2. It's the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final, and it's live and underway on TalkSport. And remember, if you haven't got our app from the App Store yet, download it. You can listen again. You can find your favourite stories and listen to all the football. I got Alexa to put on TalkSport for me this morning. Sags taught me how to do that. So we're all connected. And tonight we're underway with Arsenal getting us started in red shirts with white sleeves, white shorts and red socks. Shooting from left to right, Chelsea in all blue, their traditional colour, with white socks, shooting from right to left towards the shed end where the Arsenal fans are. They're in the bottom tier, and the right half, as we look at it, at the top tier of that shed end away to our left-hand side. The referee Martin Atkinson. The VAR based in Stockley Park is Neil Swarbrick, assisted by Mick Madonna, and they'll keep an eye on those 4 game-changing moments. Goals, mistaken identity, red cards amongst those. Cesar Azpilicueta picks the ball up on the edge of the 18-yard area. Into Conte. Conte out to the wide right position. And Moses back to Christensen, who's just signed a new long 4.5-year deal. Went away to Borussia Mönchengladbach after being in the academy. graduated from there to play Champions League football elsewhere, and now very much a firm part of the Chelsea first team. Here's Hazard onto Morata, in behind Chambers, gets to the byline, pokes it with his right foot into the side netting. The options arriving in the centre included Moses and Drinkwater, but rather oddly decided to go with the outside of his right boot and went into the side netting.
Yeah, it was a tame finish from Alvaro Morata because it was a really good run to get in behind Arsenal's defence. We talked about them playing a high line. It wasn't particularly high, but he still managed to get in behind. Eden Hazard was in a position as well to pick up the ball with nobody anywhere near him. He's the most important player in that Chelsea team. Arsenal have got to get a bit tighter to him in midfield.
Had so many chances last week at Arsenal, be desperate to atone for those errors, but Chelsea have stopped scoring. In the last month alone, Chelsea have failed to score against West Ham and Everton in the league, while they were held to a goalless draw by Norwich in the FA Cup. They need to up their goals return. Here's Iwobi. On time tonight, sending the ball into Wilshere and out to the left, where it's picked up by Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who's moved into the first team rather seamlessly this season. Given away by Wilshere, who's captaining the Arsenal team tonight, and picked up in midfield just in front of the centre circle by the former Arsenal man Cesc Fabregas. Turning was Eden Hazard, who was the subject of controversy at the Emirates last week. The ball's run away into the centre circle by Granit Xhaka, and Xhaka finds Iwobi, and then it's out to Bellerin. Back to Callum Chambers, and then all the way to Ospina, who's wearing that bright half orange, half pink. I'm not sure entirely what the colour is, but it's incredibly loud goalkeeping outfit away to our left-hand side. You're not going to miss him when he's coming for the ball from a corner, that's for sure. 3 minutes played, 0-0 on Talk Sport. And the Chelsea manager is at least 5 yards outside his technical area. Do they review that? Sags has pointed out so is Arsene Wenger. But he's supposed to be. He's sitting, I think, on the third row of the press box. I can see him there, right above the tunnel. Here is Moses in the right full-back position for Chelsea, in possession for the home team. Not a great ball forward, it goes straight out and away for a throw on the halfway line. What was he doing there?
Not entirely sure, to be honest. I think when you're looking at this Arsenal team and areas where you can get at them, it's going to be in those channels, isn't it? Bellerin and Maitland-Niles both love to bomb forward, and you feel as though if there's a weakness, it's Holding and Chambers in the wider positions of that back three as well. So Hazard has tried to drift off into those areas when he possibly can.
Well, he's playing just behind Morata tonight. Chelsea with a bit more steel in midfield with Drinkwater, Conte and Fabregas, who provides a little bit of silk. It's won by Conte and picked up by Morata, who tries to poke it out to Eden Hazard. It's met by Mustafi, who watched it, waited for it and then stepped in, intercepted and clears away for Arsenal. 4.5 minutes played on Talk Sport. Quite a slow start to the game, actually. Not full of the intensity of a London derby, especially not the one that we saw a week ago. Here's Fabregas, forward to Hazard, lovely flick into Morata. Morata tries to send it on to Drinkwater. His pass was awry, and it was mopped up by Maitland-Niles, covering in the full-back position, who nudged it back to the goalkeeper.
They seem to have a really good understanding, Morata and Hazard. I know Morata gave the ball away, but Hazard and Morata tend to know where each other are. And once again, though, he's drifted off into an area of space, Hazard. Neither Chambers or Holding have gone tight with him, and neither Xhaka or Wilshere have said, OK, well, we'll just sit off a little bit. But they can't really, because there's 3 in midfield for Chelsea. They have to push on a bit in midfield, so it is down to Chambers or Holding to get tight to him.
Antonio Conte still moving around rather energetically on the edge of the technical area, almost directing traffic down there. I mean, he's so far outside of his technical area. A couple of times already as the ball goes back to Ospina. There's a little bit of a delay as Morata tries to close him down. It's helped out towards the left-hand side.
I watched him closely against Norwich, actually, at the weekend. He's much more animated already tonight than he was in that game.
He hasn't done his yoga today, I don't think. He said he was going to do some to calm himself down after having a go at everyone. So maybe he'd done that ahead of the Norwich game, but not ahead of this one. It looks quite smart again. Chelsea come forward with Rudiger on the ball. He hoists it out from the edge of the centre circle to the right side, and Moses, who just really allowed the ball to sort of hit his head, really, fell to Drinkwater. Chelsea have won it back after momentarily losing it, and Moses has found Hazard. Hazard turns and plays it to Fabregas, who sweeps it to Marcus Alonso, who scored that late goal in the game at the Emirates Stadium. Fabregas onto Drinkwater. He's going to go past him. Didn't stretch for it, couldn't reach it. and was scurrying rather quickly, almost like pigeon steps, to try and get to the ball, couldn't reach it, and Arsenal clear it away, and it's out on this near side and away for a throw. We played 6 minutes. You're listening to Talk Sport. It's the Carabao Cup. It's the first leg of the semi-final. Manchester City lead their semi-final by 2-1 after beating Bristol City last night live on Talk Sport, and it's 0-0 between these two.
Hazard looks in the mood though, doesn't he? I know we're only 6 minutes into the game, but a couple of really nice touches. He's drifted off into some good positions. He looks up for it and refreshed after a break against Norwich at the weekend. 4
goals in 12 games against Arsenal, and of course a real thorn in their side last Thursday night. One that was pointed out by Arsene Wenger afterwards. Here's Rudiger onto Morata, who's dropped into a hole, then clipped it down the left. It's too heavy for Fabregas. I just wonder how his confidence is, Alvaro Morata. I noticed it at the beginning of the season. It took him a little while to find his confidence. He sort of went for a rash of scoring goals, and then foot went off the pedal again. And that game against Arsenal last week, you hope it hasn't taken its toll. But certainly when he came on Saturday, late in the game against Norwich, his movement just stretched the Norwich defence so much more than Batshuayi's. It showed his class. Here is Bellerin down the right-hand side, trying to take on Alonso inside the Chelsea half. He runs to the edge of the area. Alonso gets a touch, sweeps it behind, and it's away for a corner kick. It's the first corner kick of the game, and it goes to Arsenal.
You're talking about Morata up top. It's an area where Chelsea actually do need to strengthen. Batshuayi was nowhere near good enough against Norwich. He has to play at the moment. There's no real competition for him.
Here is the corner. Granit Xhaka is standing over it. Xhaka just having a word with Alex Iwobi, telling him where he wants him. He ends up delivering a poor ball into the near post, which is cleared away by Fabregas. It wasn't great clearance, to be honest with you, but the corner was terrible. And now it's picked up by Bellerin. They're midway inside the Chelsea half. A flick from left by Holding to right, looking for Iwobi, but N'Golo Conte wins the header. It's then cleared by Marcus Alonso in the left fullback position against Shkodran Mustafi. A bit of a wrestling match ensues, but good feet by Conte to take it clear, and then plays it off the German, and then it's headed back by Granit Xhaka. Still not clear by Chelsea. They're inside their own half here. Drinkwater sloppily gives the ball away. Picked up by Wilshere. He does find his path. Danny Welbeck gets on the end of it. On the edge of the centre circle, it's with Holding again, and then back to Maitland-Niles. Arsenal in possession here, and Chelsea just having to make sure that they defend well. Christensen does that. Alonso then tries to get it clear. Again, Chelsea not really getting it out of their own half at the moment, and the ball drops on halfway, and Mustafi keeps it in before it comes off Xhaka and out for a throw into Chelsea, and a little breather for the Chelsea defence. They just weren't clearing their lines.
No, it was a scrappy enough period of play, wasn't it? I've been really impressed with Christensen at the back for Chelsea. Obviously signed his new contract as well. Looks so calm and composed in possession, reads the game really well.
Well, Christensen has certainly been a find for Chelsea this season. They needed someone to step into that back three and be the main central defender, and he has taken on that mantle. Didn't start the season there, but slowly but surely over time this campaign has walked into the team, and he's on the ball now in the centre circle, forward towards Hazard. Misplaced pass, those cut out by Mustafi. Then Arsenal come on the counter. Here's Lacazette trying to go beyond Christensen. His positioning was good enough to stop Lacazette from going beyond him. The ball runs loose, mopped up by N'Golo Conte and cleared away.
It's actually a bit of a weakness in his game as well. Lacazette, that hold-up play, it's got to stick. And particularly when you're under a bit of pressure, you need an out ball, you need someone to get a hold of it, give your midfield time to come and join him. That's got to improve from him.
Hasn't scored since that game against Manchester United, live on Talk Sport. Another humdinger. All the great games this season have been involving Arsenal, haven't they?
There's been some, really good games. Liverpool game.
The United game was brilliant.
The Chelsea game, the United game. Yeah. Leicester first game of the season.
Yep. Here's Morata, switching it out towards the far side. Moses chests it down, takes it well. He's got Drinkwater in support. Here is Azpilicueta. He's back on halfway for Arsenal, for Chelsea. Arsenal now sitting a little bit deeper. Alonso back into the centre circle. Both these two teams, when they don't have the ball, almost look like they've got back five strung along the edge of their 18-yard area. The opposition both playing one striker. Here's the ball up towards Alonso. Crossfield pass by Azpilicueta, goes over Morata's head. Alonso can't reach it. It's nudged behind by Bellerin, and it's out for a corner to Chelsea, their first of the game.
That was a good try, and Alonso made a good run, as he always does.
Quickly taken for a corner kick. Hazard back to Moses, lashes it goalwards. It's half cleared into the air by Wilshere. Comes out on this near side, the left. Lacazette pops it off his head. It goes out for a throw-in, halfway between the byline and the edge of the area, down the left side. Hazard's going to take it into Alonso. Back to Hazard again. No real test for either goalkeeper so far. We've played 11 minutes. You're listening to Talk Sport. It's 0-0. Here's Fabregas onto Alonso. Tries to chest it and take it away to the corner flag. Bellerin comes across. There's a slip by Alonso. And it's out of play and away to our left-hand side and out for a goal kick to Arsenal. Scored 3 times in his last 6 games, Marcos Alonso, including that great goal against Arsenal when he arrived in the box perfectly after a darting run. Since the start of last season, he's been involved directly in 16 Premier League goals. 12 goals, 4 assists. It's 4 more than any other defender.
That goal at Arsenal is one of my favourite this season. It might sound stupid, but he ran from the touchline on the left-hand side across that near post, and his finish was brilliant as well. But he actually made the run of Morata. That was Morata, really, as a centre-forward, should be getting across that near post, but Alonso made that run brilliantly.
Here is Eden Hazard trying to get in behind Godrin Mustafi, who cranes his neck and heads the ball away after a long ball forward by the Chelsea defence. It's now at the feet of Holding into Xhaka, midway inside his own half. Out to the left it goes, up to the halfway line where Welbeck holds it up well, brings Wilshere into play. Wilshere charging forward, he's away from Fabregas here, sends it out towards the right side. Iwobi joining the attack, Arsenal coming forward. It's picked up by Xhaka. He's 10 yards back from the edge of the area, encouraged to shoot by the Arsenal supporters. Doesn't do that, gives it to Maitland-Niles, and then the attack slows and Arsenal retain possession on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Here is Granit Xhaka, the Swiss international, former Basel player, has scored this season against Liverpool in that famous 3-3 game. He's looking to pick his pass and find Maitland-Niles, who'd made a dart in behind Moses, but Moses was alert to the danger, and Arsenal shuffle it back to the goalkeeper.
That was really good football from Arsenal, from back to front, and it just fell apart in the final third. You're looking for that extra bit of quality. Who's going to find a pass? And I think that's where they lack that Mesut Ozil tonight. Alexis Sanchez on the bench, that little bit of quality.
Iwobi into Wilshere, glides away from Fabregas, pops it off to Lacazette, gets it back again, sends it wide into Bellerin, low cross towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Bilicueta gets in there ahead of Danny Welbeck. Good football instigated by the captain, Jack Wilshere.
Talked about Hazard being up for it, so is Jack Wilshere tonight. He's been on the ball an awful lot already in this game. Played some really nice football, 1-2s, driving forward.
14 minutes gone. Bit of a chess match so far in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Alonso away, then Fabregas, Alonso again, being chased by Bellerin, slips, Wilshere's in there like a tiger, tenaciously ripping the ball away from Alonso, but they lose it quickly and it goes up to Morata, edge of the area. He brings it down well initially, but then across comes Chambers and scoops it out and away to the touchline, and it's out for a throw, and Chelsea have it once again.
There's not many who've got the quality of Cesc Fabregas to find that pass.
Beautiful pass.
I mean, Morata, as soon as Fabregas picks the ball up, he's on his bike because he knows he's got someone in Fabregas who can find him.
Rudiger, the German, sends it across to the Dane Christensen, then on to the Spaniard Azpilicueta. He's looking for Drinkwater. And Holding came towards him. Drinkwater has lost the ball again. It goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. He was just trying to allow that to roll across his body, but it just didn't work out, did it?
No, he just looks like he's lacking a bit of sharpness, actually, Danny Drinkwater right now. And not a big fan of him making those runs into that channel either on that right-hand side. I'd be tempted to sort of leave that to Victor Moses, maybe Hazard drifting out into those wide positions. Try and support from behind if you can.
Will that be a tactical thing that he's been asked to do, to get down that right-hand side, or will it be something that he's chosen to do because he's noticed there's space out there?
No, it looks like it, to be honest. I mean, the way Chelsea have set up in midfield, it's N'Golo Kante that's just sitting, Drinkwater to his right, Fabregas to his left, and those two have got the licence to go forward. So it looks like it's something that Antonio Conte has asked for.
Well, they might try and pressurise that Arsenal defence. It looked inexperienced when they played a week ago. Chambers Holding either side of Mustafi. They looked a little bit nervous at times, and if they're wobbly again tonight, Chelsea have to punish them. Here's Morata onto the right, looking for Moses. Moses is beaten to it by Maitland-Niles, and Alonso is putting pressure on the goalkeeper once again. It's cleared by Mustafi, and Bellerin from the right fullback position will hoist it forward, looking for Iwobi. Iwobi brings it down, he gets it back to his goalkeeper under pressure from Rudiger and Alonso, and then it's slid out into the path of Holding. Antonio Conte just patrolling on the edge of his technical area now. We'll get reviews of the Moose in just a second about how Arsene Wenger is behaving in the press box. Here's Lacazette, though, edge of the box, combining with Welbeck and using his good feet to go down the left-hand side. Chelsea didn't get a tackle in. Lacazette tries to pull it back to the edge of the area. It's blocked by Drinkwater, comes back to Azpilicueta, who just sort of shepherds it back into the arms of Thibaut Courtois, and Chelsea managed to clear.
Do you know what? Cesar Azpilicueta, one of the best one-on-one defenders that you'll see. Hardly ever gets beaten. I mean, he doesn't look the quickest, does he? He's not the biggest, he's not the strongest in the league, but he hardly ever gets beaten one-on-one, and he stood up brilliantly against Lacazette.
He's the kind of guy that you're always going to be able to rely on. He is
7.5 out of 10
every week.
You know what you're going to get. He's a manager's dream.
Whatever position you play him in,
exactly.
Left back, right wing back, left wing back, or centre half.
Captain tonight as well.
Here is Rudiger on the ball on the left-hand side of the Chelsea defence, into centre field, where it's picked up by Christensen again now. Chelsea trying to find a way through, but there's lots of gaps that have been plugged by the Arsenal defence. As I said, whenever the team is out of possession, either of these two sides, when they're out of possession, it looks like the back five. Here's Iwobi trying to dance forward. He goes towards Alonso. There's a bad tackle by N'Golo Conte, and he gives away a free kick 10 yards back from the edge of the area.
Well, he beat Fabregas too easily, beat Alonso too easily, and it was a foul. Martin Exon on the spot to give the decision correctly.
And no choice really, did he, N'Golo Conte? It's one of those where you have to sort of take one for the team.
Yeah, well, he'd gone past Fabregas and Alonso far too easily, and was running at the back three, wasn't he?
Iwobi had to be stopped, and Conte took emergency action. Free kick then to Arsenal. Granit Xhaka has placed it down. He's got Welbeck to aim at. Iwobi in there and Lacazette too.
Looks like he's going to hit this.
He can hit them from distance, can't he?
He certainly can. Well, it was 30 yards out, maybe a bit more.
He's a long, long way out. And the Swiss has looked purposeful. His hands are by his side. His long sleeve white shirt on. He steps up, left-footed, drives it along the floor, hits the wall, and it wasn't very effective at all. It was a bit of a dribbler really, and goes behind and away for a corner kick.
Well, particularly when it was only a two-man wall as well. It was Hazard and N'Golo Conte, so
not the biggest
wall in the world.
Doesn't really count as a two-man wall, that really, does it? It's a man and a half. Corner kick to be taken. I think they're going to go short here. They might have telegraphed that, and Iwobi gives it straight to Drinkwater. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous. Here is Hazard breaking away from the counter after a really poorly executed set piece. He puts it through the legs of Xhaka. That's a foul by Xhaka on halfway. Just completely did him, went down. That's a free kick.
Just so good at relieving pressure, isn't he? Hazard was onto the loose pass straight away, picked it up, went past Wilshere, then nutmegged Xhaka, and all of a sudden Chelsea in possession and in the opposition half.
He's got fantastic balance, great anticipation, reads the game really well, and is able to do things that others find difficult. And Hazard is a wonderfully balanced player.
Loves this role as well, because it gives him the freedom to play pretty much where he wants to without any defensive responsibility.
Morata chasing down. There's a collision between Chambers and Mustafi, but it doesn't fall to a Chelsea blue shirt. It runs through to the goalkeeper Ospina, and it is with Arsenal once again. 20 minutes played, 0-0 on Talk Sport between Chelsea and Arsenal in the Carabao Cup semi-final. It's the second semi-final after last night Manchester City getting a lead in their game. Remember, we've got live football for you on Friday. Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United in the Steel City derby. That's live from 7 o'clock on Friday night. On Saturday, wall-to-wall football for you throughout the day on TalkSport 2, starting at midday in the Championship. Then live Premier League football from 3. We'll be doing Match Day Live and Around the Grounds with Adrian Durham at 3 o'clock on TalkSport. And then I'll be back with you Tottenham-Everton at 5:30. Then Jim, Ray and Sags will be with you on Sunday for Bournemouth against Arsenal. Ball out of play over on the far side. Let's go down to the Moose. He's down in the lower press box with none other than the Arsenal manager, Arsene Wenger.
Absolutely, it's fascinating having Arsenal down here, because every time Arsenal have an attack or a free kick goes against them, you just look along the road. It's only about 4 or 5 seats, I think, away from me, and to where Arsenal is. And sometimes he has thrown his fist onto the table here. Sometimes he's just in disgust thrown his hand down. Sometimes he's covered his face, and he's next to Jens Lehmann. Jens Lehmann seems to be making all the calls down to Steve Bold, but it's just fascinating having the Arsenal manager so close to me during an Arsenal game.
Well, it's quite interesting that Jens Lehmann is the one that's making the calls down to the bench. It's not that far, but they're in constant communication. Ball over the top by Arsenal, onto Lacazette on the right side, takes it on the volley, maybe a bit too early, and it skids off the outside of his boot and goes behind and away for a goal kick.
Just over 21 minutes into the game, it's been a really cagey affair. Both sides quick to get men in behind the ball when the opposition have it. First time we've really seen a sighter on goal. Comes from Lacazette over the top. He took it early, but snatched at his opportunity and blasted it over the top, and still neither keeper yet to make a save.
Poor effort. It's the only real effort we've had in the game so far. I mean, almost halfway through the first half here at Stamford Bridge.
Good chance, wasn't it, as well? A wonderful ball over the top to him.
Well, as I mentioned before, he's got 8 goals this season, which for his price tag is a bit surprising. He scored so many in France last season. You would expect him to be on the score sheet more often with a number of chances that Arsenal create, but he hasn't scored for 7 games.
He hasn't played every game either. He's been left out of some of the bigger ones, Lacazette at times.
Here is Drinkwater, sending it down the right inside the fullback to look for Moses. Moses is speeding away, but he's not going to reach that. It was an ambitious ball, and it's cut out, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. So we have watched these two teams now for half of this first half, and they've cancelled each other out so far.
Well, apart from that one chance, that one ball over the top, we talked about how.
Well, there was another one from Morata, wasn't it? And he was a little bit wider. And
yeah, that was a more difficult chance. That was a more difficult chance. He was through. Lacazette over the top, bearing down on goal. Should have hit the target at the very least. I think it was Jack Wilshere that found him.
From Wilshere.
It was a great ball, and it bounced right into his path as well on the volley. You expect him to at least trouble Courtois.
Fabregas into Eden Hazard. Tries to turn away from Rob Holding, does that, feeds Drinkwater. There's space out wide right for Moses. Moses motors into the right wing position, then comes infield into the penalty area. A left-footed drive, spilt by the goalkeeper. And they were quick to try and pounce on him, but he was quicker, and he smothered it at the second attempt. Ospina. It was a vicious shot from Victor Moses, which he didn't quite handle correctly, but he gathered it at the second attempt.
I think that's better from Drinkwater, just to let him go one against Maitland-Niles. He fed him the ball and let him go at him. And Maitland-Niles actually showed him inside. He showed him and said, go on, have a shot, because Moses is obviously heavily right-footed. And you're thinking, go on, doesn't want him to take him down the line. He let him come inside and just opened it up to get the shot away. It was a decent strike by him. Ospina probably should have done a bit better.
Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Victor Moses himself hasn't been too regular a goal scorer this season. In fact, his only strike, and it doesn't really count in your tally, does it? He scored in the Community Shield.
They all count, Sam. They all count.
How many did you get in your career?
84.
Can you remember all of them?
Most of them.
Yeah.
Listen, they all count. It comes off your knee from a yard, or you smack one in from 30 yards into the top corner.
Doesn't matter, does it?
They're both one goal.
No goals so far in this one, and no saves really to speak of, apart from that one from Ospina just moments ago. It's about the most animated either of the two goalkeepers have had to get. 23 gone. Talk Sport. Ball down the left, and it's with Maitland-Niles. He finds Granit Xhaka, tries to tickle a pass into Iwobi, cut out easily by Piliqueta, but given away. And Welbeck's trying to go beyond 2 or 3 Chelsea players, but immediately that he thinks he's escaped, there's 4 Chelsea blue shirts around him. They hound him until he gives up the ball, and it runs through to Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah, they were. There was 4 around him straight away, but it's all very tight and congested right now. Neither side able to find too much space.
Rudiger drifting it over the top, looking for Hazard. It's headed away by Holding. His header's a sensible one, because Chelsea players were in and around lurking with intent, so he had to guide it out to Maitland-Niles. He did that by rising and glancing it into his path, and the youngster, only 20 years of age, brings it clear through Wilshere and then gets it back again far side on halfway.
Started okay defensively, haven't they, Arsenal? And actually, Mustafi, in the middle of that 3, he's got a big role tonight. With the 2 younger ones either side of him, Chambers and Holding. And he needs to talk them through the game, encourage them. And they're doing a good job so far.
Different personnel, because the injuries that they've sustained, Arsenal, but similar game plan to the game in September here so far, where they stifled Chelsea and it finished 0-0. They'd take that, I think, going back in 2 weeks' time. Here's N'Golo Conte, though, speeding through midfield. Morata makes a dart to the edge of the D, but the back post is Alonso. Hazard has peeled out to the right. It's back with N'Golo Conte. Slides it to Alonso. He's on the edge of the area now. What's he going to do? Go on the outside? He's going to have to, really. He drives the ball through the 6-yard box. It's behind Morata. Took a little nick on the way through. That is going to be a corner.
Well, I mean, that was dangerous. He was actually shooting. I mean, it ends up across and it's gone behind Morata because he just pulls it and pulls it wide, and it gets a little nick, as you say. But it was so close to Morata getting on the end of it, 6 yards out.
Taking the corner quickly again. It's into space and Moses, then back to Hazard, who produces a ball into the box, which is easily headed away by Xhaka. And again, from that set piece, nothing comes of it. Both teams have not made the most of the set-piece opportunities they've had in the game so far. Hazard across to Rudiger. Rudiger on to Marcos Alonso. Alonso tucking it infield, finding Eden Hazard, who's popping up everywhere at the moment. He clips the ball out to the right. It's brought down by Moses, faced up immediately by Maitland-Niles, who's made a slip, and that's allowed Moses the space to get into the area. He drives the ball hard and low, and then at the second attempt, it's popped off by the goalkeeper and makes a good save. It comes out into the 18-yard box. There's no one there to bury it and finish it off.
That hit the post. I'm pretty sure that hit the post. We'll see it again in a minute, but I'm fairly confident that hit the post. Spina got a touch on it and touched it onto the post.
Well, it was a good effort from Moses in the end, because his first driven cross was blocked rather easily. It came back to him and he lashed it first time, and it almost caught the Arsenal goalkeeper out. When it did come back into the open penalty area, there was no one there to polish off the chance.
No, it's a mistake by Maitland-Niles as well, wasn't it? The left back. He
slipped, yeah.
Yeah, he slipped and allowed Moses to get past him. I think Mustafi came across and made a good block initially, and then it fell to Moses again, had a shot, and Spina makes the save and tips it onto the post.
Yeah, it did hit the post. At the other end, Arsenal have now won another corner. It's their third of the game. Goes out to Xhaka. Xhaka is going to get the cross in, and there's a push inside the box, which the referee wants to wait and take some advice on. He puts his ear. He puts his hand to his ear. Christensen went down under pressure from Callum Chambers.
Is this VAR?
And now the referee is getting a check because he thought it might be a push in the back of Christensen. And he's still talking away, the referee. Is he going to want to see it again, or is he going to go over and talk to the two players? Martin Atkinson is the referee. Now he's called them over. He's taken instruction, and he wants to know a little bit more information from the two protagonists, Callum Chambers and Andreas Christensen.
Ball was out of play, though, wasn't it? So he can't give the decision, can he?
Unless it's serious misconduct. If it's violent conduct, then he can take action. They're still together. The corner now eventually going to be taken over on the far side. Martin Atkinson now checking that it's in the quadrant over on the far side. The Chelsea fans giving Xhaka a bit of extra audible information. And now we'll eventually get the corner. He's re-spotted it again. So here's the Swiss with the corner. It's a poor one in towards the near post. Morata's got it. It's touched away by Fabregas and it's cleared upfield. We've had in the game 5 corners, 2 of them have gone short, the other 3 have been dreadful. Maybe that will improve as the game goes on. We've played half an hour, it's 0-0 in a cagey affair at Stamford Bridge. Semi-finals often are. Here is the defender Callum Chambers, who's had a talking to from Martin Atkinson.
First legs often are cagey, I think. Neither side wants to lose it in that first game. Second game is a bit different. Teams tend to go for it a bit more, but in the first leg, teams don't want to get beaten. Lose 3 or 4 and be out of it in the second leg.
Well, they want to be able to contest it especially if they're the away team, when they get back to their home ground. Certainly, Bristol City away from home yesterday did a brilliant job.
Well, they're in it still, very much in it.
Only need to win 1-0, as we worked out last night, and they go through.
Good luck stopping Man City scoring.
for 90 minutes plus extra time. Ball has been sent out wide towards the left. Maitland-Niles really high up the pitch, but he's on his own. So instead of trying to get the cross in, he just plays it against Moses and takes the corner, a tactical corner. It was a good idea.
So this is a better one. Xhaka's running over to take it.
Well, now because of what happened in the previous corner, all eyes now will be on Christensen and Chambers, just to make sure. And all eyes will be on Xhaka to make sure he's putting it inside the quadrant. He's moved it again. It's becoming a bit of a pantomime joke. He takes this corner. It's aimed in towards the penalty spot. Mustafi is up there with a header. Doesn't get it right. Goes over the top of the crossbar. Better delivery.
It was a better delivery, yeah. I don't think he knew an awful lot about it, Mustafi, though. He was under pressure from Alonso.
Hazard picking it up, giving it to Morata, then Fabregas, then Drinkwater, try to twirl and send it out towards Moses, but it was blocked by Holding, and Arsenal have it back with Iwobi. Now, really, Danny Drinkwater needed to get that out towards Moses, and it was disappointing that he didn't.
It almost like you can see his brain whirring to think that's where I've got to play it. It's just when you haven't played a lot of football, that match sharpness, it does take an effect. And I think that's the case with Danny Drinkwater right now.
Fabregas finding Drinkwater on halfway. It was a bit of a dicey pass that from Fabregas, which was almost cut out by Alex Iwobi. And then Drinkwater gets it back to Christensen, and Christensen wanders into the centre circle, finds Hazard. And this London derby, which last week in the Premier League at the Emirates was rip-roaring and almost uncontainable. The excitement was wonderful. Great to watch. Tonight hasn't been as entertaining. We've still got a long way to go, though. 15 minutes before half-time. Here's Hazard into the area, joined by Fabregas. Wanders past Wilshere, produced the cross, and Morata seemed to turn his back, didn't see it coming, and it went behind his head and through the 6-yard box, and it's cleared on the far side by Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't think he could get on the end of it, to be honest. And Victor Moses actually was a bit on his heels. He was well outside the box. You're thinking, can he get in there as well and get on the end of it at the far post, and didn't. Eventually, Arsenal able to clear.
Such quickness of thought, though, by Fabregas. His feet are so superb. Balletic. Here is Drinkwater, edge of the area. Oh, dear. It was cut back to him by Hazard, and he has lifted it as high as the floodlights.
3 points.
Before it drops behind into the empty 2 rows behind the goal.
And poor old Deck, our producer, he's on a hat-trick. He was with us, wasn't he, on Saturday?
He was.
Chelsea against Norwich. He was at West Ham, Shrewsbury.
Oh, yeah.
0-0, 0-0, and it's currently 0-0.
Well, you're not coming with us on Saturday, are you? Oh, dear. Yeah, it's Tottenham-Everton Saturday night. Looking forward to that. And Arsenal against Bournemouth down on the south coast as well, which will be a really good game too. Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, live football from the FA Cup. And then, of course, Friday night kicking us all off for the weekend, another weekend of wall-to-wall action. We've got it all here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. It's the Still City Derby. TalkSport 2's got loads of stuff for you this weekend as well. And the NFL playoffs continue. The home of the NFL, the home of the EFL, the home of the Premier League, the Champions League, the Europa League, international football, everything. It's all here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Here's Rudiger for Chelsea. Is there going to be a spark of inspiration before half-time from one of these two teams? Fabregas, was he fouled by Bellerin then? I think he was. And he's holding his ankle. And the free kick has been given on halfway. The Moose is down by the touchline, by the way, and he's sitting with Arsene Wenger. And Arsene Wenger has sent Alexis Sanchez out to warm up.
I'm not sure whether he did it or whether Jens Lehmann did it. I know what you mean. I'll tell you what, Arsene Wenger is like a man with ants in his pants. He can't keep still. He's either leaning forward, leaning back. He's either banging the table. He's been in discussion a couple of times with Jens Lehmann. He's shaking his head. He hasn't smiled once down here. I mean, come on, Arsene. People are sitting near me in the press box. They normally smile, mate. Smile!
Well, he is sitting near you in the press box. So, you know.
And by the way, he's doing a job. He's a manager of a football club and he's trying to get his team into the final.
I think he's got other things on his mind rather than making your night with a smile for a selfie. Here is Wilshere over the halfway line, trying to skate away. Now that was all came about because Chelsea had a free kick on halfway and they gave it straight to Jack Wilshere in the heart of midfield. He then bounded away. He thought he should have had a free kick. The ball ended up going out of play for a Chelsea throw. But that was a bit sloppy from Chelsea. Mustafi heads the ball away from a long ball upfield. Morata then wrestles with him, and then Mustafi is penalised for holding Alvaro Morata. It's a free kick 6 yards back from the edge of the area.
So both sides have been guilty of giving the ball away cheaply in midfield. Morata makes such a difference. We compare it to Batshuayi up top. He stretches teams. You know, he looks to get in behind. By doing that, he opens up a bit of space for Hazard in behind. That's exactly what happened on that occasion.
So Fabregas now has the opportunity to swirl in a free kick. He's 6 yards back from the edge of the area on the left-hand side. He's got Morata to aim at. Rudiger is in there as well. Andreas Christensen is lurking on the edge of the box. Danny Drinkwater the furthest forward. Every Arsenal player inside their own 18-yard box here. Fabregas is always a good technician from this sort of range as well. This is perfect for him, right-footed, drifting it into the box. They'll all attack it. He may even go for goal. He has 2 already this season. The referee blows his whistle. Fabregas poised, steps up, right-footed, sends it straight to Conte. Conte strikes and it's over the top of the crossbar. Well, no one was expecting that, and N'Golo Conte was square of him, just a couple of yards back from the edge of the D. Didn't strike it properly.
No, it was well worked, because we weren't expecting it, that's for sure. We weren't expecting him to play a short one to N'Golo Kante to have a shot from 25 yards. One thing I noticed as well, Antonio Conte there, when we were at Norwich the weekend, they were actually very vulnerable when they had their own set pieces, their own corners to the counter-attack.
Yes.
He was making sure he had 2 men on the halfway line just to guard and protect against that.
That was a particular problem. It happened a couple of times, didn't it? And in the end, he started to make sure that the right people were back there, because there was a couple of occasions when he had the wrong bodies in that area, and Chelsea got caught out as a result of that. But again, it's another set piece which someone hasn't made the most of, and it's still goalless, and we've got 8 minutes to go. You're listening to Talk Sport live in the Carabao Cup. Chelsea have won 4 of their 5 League Cup ties against Arsenal, including the semi-final of '98, when they came back from a first leg deficit and sacked their manager to win 4-3 on aggregate. And the programme that they produced tonight pays particular homage to that, with the old Chelsea badge and the style of that programme. And Gianluca Vialli, who was appointed the manager on the eve of that game, started himself, Mark Hughes, Gianfranco Zola up front, and they turned it around when no one thought they could, and they lifted the cup against Middlesbrough not so long after. Iwobi on halfway, moving in field, blocked by Conte. Tackled by Christensen, but still Iwobi's got it. He dances forward, he moves to the edge of the area, plays it behind Welbeck. Clearance isn't great, comes back to Iwobi, shoots, good save by Thibaut Courtois. His first real one of the night. Now Moses has gone in on the defender, Maitland-Niles, who's charged into the box. There's a claim for a penalty there. The referee now is taking advice. The goal kick has been given by him on the field. Now he's just going to check this to make sure that there wasn't an infringement from Victor Moses on Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Now I think because of the way he's walking back towards the halfway line with his finger in his ear, that he's not going to review this, but he's telling Thibaut Courtois not to kick the ball, because if he does kick the ball, then they can't go back. Now he's waited, he's checked, he's allowed play to continue.
It's twice now that he's gone and referred a decision, if you like, not got to the side of the pitch and had a look at his monitor, and it has taken a little while, hasn't it? Now that's what, 30-40 seconds it's taken for him to make that decision.
But it stops the players complaining that they feel that they've been wrongly robbed of a decision they thought they should have got. It stops any sort of conspiracy theory or conjecture about whether or not it should have been given. And it wasn't that, it didn't take that long, did it? I mean, it didn't stop the rhythm of the game because the ball had already gone out. You like to see it move faster, do you?
Well, no, I mean, look, you're right in the respect that you're getting the right decision. I mean, we're just fortunate enough to get another quick view of it now, and it was the right decision. It was a good save by Courtois initially, and Moses didn't even try and challenge Maitland-Niles. And he jumps it over the top of the foot, so he actually got no contact with the player at all.
Rudiger away from the left full-back position. We're approaching 5 minutes before half-time. Is someone going to make a breakthrough before then? The biggest issue Chelsea have got to contend with is the fact that they haven't scored enough goals recently. They know that. And Morata hasn't looked particularly confident tonight either. Here's Xhaka. They would want a first leg lead going back to the Emirates Stadium. Here is Xhaka. Back to Mustafi. Arsenal haven't looked too troubled so far tonight.
No, Arsene Wenger will be thrilled. Over 40 minutes into the game. I'm trying to think how many saves Ospina's had to make. One from Moses when he cut back on his left-hand side and he hit the post. I think Ospina tipped it onto the post. But generally, he hasn't had an awful lot to do.
There's a foul there, which has been given for Arsenal. Then there was a late challenge by Welbeck as the ball went on Moses, but the referee had already pulled it back for an infringement prior to that. So there's a free kick on the left-hand side, 10 yards back from the edge of the penalty area. Xhaka can whip this in. Well, I say he can whip this in. Whether he does or not is a different matter, because so far tonight, every set piece that we've had has come to nothing and caused very little damage to the opposition, whether it be a Chelsea free kick or corner or an Arsenal one. But Arsenal have the chance now to try and carve something out right at the end of the first half. Here's Granit Xhaka, 0-0 the score. It's deep and it's long and it's high and it's easily caught by the volleyball expert Thibaut Courtois.
And it's no better than any other set piece that we've seen throughout the game so far. Now, it's an awful one, wasn't it?
Correct. And I think that's something that I think Antonio Conte will want them to improve on, Chelsea in the second half, and Arsene Wenger too.
No, absolutely. In tight games, as it is, and very few chances from open play, set pieces become more and more important.
Christensen, he's had a lot of space to wander into here, and then it's sent round the corner for Hazard. Hazard's going through. Good covering by Maitland-Niles, who used his body to get in between ball and man. He came in from that left full-back position, tracked his runner, Hazard, who came in field from right to left, and he just got there ahead of him.
I thought he was in. I'm not sure why he wasn't. His touch perhaps got away from him, but he was past Mustafi, wasn't he? Yes, Maitland-Niles got back, but I thought for a moment Hazard was in.
Maitland-Niles is unbelievably quick.
Oh, we've seen that already, and he's had one or two races with Victor Moses on that right-hand side and come out on top, so we know he's quick.
Here he is again, chasing the ball, which was played to him by Wilshere perfectly, and won by Maitland-Niles, who's taking on Moses. He's gone beyond him. He's run to the byline. He might just have overrun that. The ball's gone out of play. It's out for a goal kick. But he is a danger because of his pace.
Yeah.
And he's aggressive, and he likes to get up in the faces of the opposition defenders.
Oh, he likes to get forward. There's no question about that. And Jack Wilshere in midfield has found some brilliant passes as well, hasn't he? The one over the top for Lacazette, that one, a big crossfield pass to Maitland-Niles. Some of his passing has been very good tonight.
Morata is now chasing a long ball. Actually, that was a little bit naughty from Mustafi, whose arm came across and dragged Morata to the floor. The assistant over on the far side has flagged and indicated that there was a problem, and I think it was pretty obvious from this distance that there was an issue, because his arm came out in front of Morata's face. Morata went down, be it theatrically or not, and that's going to be a free kick.
It was a foul. Once again, Morata's stretching them, Arsenal, trying to get in the channels, trying to get in behind, and he had the beating of Mustafi. He got there first, he flicked the header, Mustafi brought him down.
0-0 the score. And Alvaro Morata, who hasn't had a chance really in the game, he had a half chance in the first couple of minutes and hit it into the side netting, hasn't really had a chance in the game. Would love a really good delivery from that right-hand side to pick him out with his head. He's so efficient with his head. 28% of all of his chances in the air are converted. Only 2% with his feet. I can't remember who told me that information.
I think it was 8%.
8%, sorry.
Yeah.
You were the statter that gave me that information. It was very welcome, I must admit. Here's Fabregas into the near post. Alonso goes towards it, doesn't reach it. It flicks off the head of Rob Holding and sends it behind and away for another corner to Chelsea, their fourth of the game.
Well, that was a better ball in from Cesc Fabregas, and Alonso making that run again across the near post.
Quickly taken again from Chelsea. They're not trying to allow Arsenal to settle from these corner kicks. Hazard's got it back from Fabregas. He's tight on the left-hand side. He needs someone to get the ball to. Azpilicueta provides him an outlet. He then sends a cross into Fabregas with a header, and it's planted straight into the arms of Ospina, who only had to take one step to the right to catch it. But it was a delicious ball from Azpilicueta. He picked out Fabregas. Fabregas might be disappointed he didn't put it either side of the goalie.
I tell you what, we've seen that so often from Cesar Azpilicueta. That ball in from that right side, that right channel, delivering it into the box. Timed the run brilliantly, Fabregas as well, but he didn't head it back where it came from. And he headed it almost straight down, and it's straight at Ospina. Either side of the goalkeeper, that was a goal.
1 minute of added time at the end of the first 45. That was probably the best and most clear-cut chance we've had in the game so far, and it fell to Chelsea. Azpilicueta's ball forward, Fabregas with the header, saved by Ospina.
I'd say if that was Morata, that was a goal.
But it's still 0-0. Here is Hazard, Morata, and was there a handball over on that far side? The referee didn't look at it, and there was no indication from the assistant, so play continues. This is Drinkwater. Now it's with Moses on the far touchline. It's cut out by Maitland-Niles and out for a throw. 20 seconds of normal time added. Playing the ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box now is Bilic. This time it's not as accurate as his previous ball. It's easily stopped by Ospina, and that's probably the last action of the first 45 minutes. The first 45 minutes that didn't really live up to the hype that was generated by the previous encounter between these two teams. A Carabao Cup semi-final which is still finely poised, that is for sure. And I suppose there'll be hope from both sets of supporters that there's a lot more in it in the second half of the game. Arsenal haven't won here since October 2011, but they might feel they've got a chance tonight. At the break, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
Just out of sorts a little bit, Chelsea. We'll talk more to Matt Holland. Sam Matterface with the commentary. They will go down to Ian Abrahams as the two sides come off. Ian, Arsenal already made his way.
Yes, typical of Arsenal fans and Arsenal supporters. He left early, 15 seconds before the end of the half. My stopwatch was correct. He's been a tourist attraction down here, Mark. There have been fans all through the first half standing up. Some little boy next to me, a Chelsea fan, actually stood on his chair to look along my row to see Arsene Wenger. They've never been so close to the Arsenal manager. He's had chants at him of Arsene Wenger, we want you to stay. He's had hand gestures. He's had more pictures taken of him probably in this half than he has during a whole season by people who want to get pictures of Arsene Wenger sitting so close to him, and he's never once smiled or clapped his team. He's stumped his arms down a couple of times. He's looked frustrated, but he hasn't looked very happy.
Just a little sort of side piece, that really, isn't it? Just one thing for me, and you'll be able to help us because I'm calling you Dr. VAR, Sam. Do they add on the time? Because I have a feeling watching that first half there, I nearly want to see a stopwatch and the clock now in the stadium, because he only gave a minute there, and I counted on those two occasions we were 2 minutes. And I think that's robbing everybody a part of the game. If we're going to do this nonsense of waiting for 3 or 4 minutes and he only adds 1 extra minute on, I don't think that's fair on any of the fans for a start.
Well, I must admit, when the ball came up and he said 1 minute, I was a bit surprised because of the time we had for the Christensen discussion and the Chambers discussion when they were pulling each other inside.
And it is to be added on, isn't it?
It definitely is to be added on, yeah.
But he didn't do it.
And the same at the end where he was just checking the penalty decision. So in the end, actually, he ended up playing 1 minute and 40 seconds. So.
Oh, okay.
It's only a minimum of 1 minute of added time.
Yeah, no, I realised that as well. So what do you think, Matt? It's never really quite got going this
No, it hasn't. It hasn't really got going. Both sides have had chances. I mean, Lacazette was through, wasn't he? The ball over the top from Jack Wilshere and should have done better. Chelsea's best chance came actually right on half-time, wasn't it? Fabregas's header straight at the goalkeeper. But it's been tight. It's been cagey. I think both sides have been happy to get men behind the ball, make it difficult to try and be played through. We said that first legs of semi-finals can be cagey. That's been the case in this first half.
Well, I think that Arsenal will wander back into their dressing room here, and Arsene Wenger will be delighted.
He'll be very happy.
45 minutes for them of the same again, and thank you very much.
Well, they got 0-0 here in the league, and they've done a good job defensively tonight. I mean, at times it's been a back five. It's, you know, Maitland-Niles and Bellerin have been forced back, but they've been quite compact, and it's been a 4 rather than it would have been Welbeck playing quite high up and trying to get around Lacazette. They've made it a 4 as well, alongside Wilshere and Xhaka, so they've got themselves into some good positions defensively, and had 1 or 2 chances on the counter-attack themselves.
We haven't seen too much because Arsenal haven't been able to do that in a way that, you know, where they're so quick on the break. Just now and again they've nearly got there, but I think everybody's just, the ball hasn't quite flown as smoothly as it would normally do in a game
stodgy,
like this.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit stodgy. I think both sides have been guilty in their passing. It hasn't quite been as crisp as they would like. I mean, we're seeing the possession stats, and it's 50-50. I think that pretty much says it all, doesn't it, about this first half, really. A lot of it's been played in the middle of the pitch, middle third, but some of the passing at times has been a bit off.
Well, 45 minutes still to come with Sam and with Matt on this one. Just to let you know, we've got all action all the way again this weekend. We'll start on Friday night, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday in the Steel City derby. Really looking forward to that. Nigel Adderley will be your commentator, alongside him Neil Redfern, who's been a real welcome addition as well to our top team, particularly across that Yorkshire period, and he knows all about the big derbies and what that's going to be all about, of course. And then we're into Saturday and the Premier League and much more besides. Cardiff against Sunderland in the Championship again at midday on TalkSport 2, and then they've got Newcastle Swansea at 3 o'clock in the afternoon as well. Match day live with Adrian Durham, as brilliant as always. And here he is, Ross Barkley. I'm just going to thank you for that, Sam. Ross Barkley. Has he still got his old Everton tracksuit on? No, I'm only the same colour. He's putting his gloves together. And his hand above he's not moved too much. How far away is he now from playing? He's training.
He's training
every day, yeah.
He's just building up his fitness now, and when they decide he's fit enough to go, they'll pick him.
Just wonder, with him then, Matt, tell us about this from you. You played at the very highest level in that sort of position as well. That at times he gave the ball away, wanders around a bit, does one or two things he shouldn't do, Ross Barkley. But, in a side like Chelsea, with that sort of movement and freedom, is he going to get more opportunity, do you think, to show the really quality side of his game, which is very much now and again doing the not so obvious, if I could put it that way.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, where he fits into this team and how Antonio Conte tries to change him a bit as well in terms of the discipline and the shape, and is he going to be... I mean, lots of people have talked about Ross Barkley and said, he could play a little bit deeper, actually. He's got that ability to find a pass. He could play, as we've seen with Wayne Rooney, actually, how his game's developed, and he's gone back into that.
I think it can be a little bit of a problem, though, when he goes deeper, that he tends to give the ball away a little bit.
Exactly that, and defensively can switch off a bit as well. So whether that improves under Antonio, I'm sure it will. I'm sure that's something that he'll try and improve his game, and he can get better at. But how many games is he going to play? I think that is the key question, really. When you've got so much competition for places, Hazard, Pedro, Willian, Fabregas, that slightly deeper position as well. How many games is he going to get? It'd be interesting to see between now and the end of the season how fit he is and how well he plays when he gets a chance.
Well, Matt Holland's thoughts there on Ross Barkley. He's been introduced to the Stamford Bridge crowd in the last couple of minutes or so, and they've already had 45 in this first leg of the second semi-final of the Carabao Cup, live on TalkSport.
Ball over the top by Arsenal, onto Lacazette on the right side, takes it on the volley, maybe a bit too early, and it skids off the outside of his boot and goes behind and away. Moses motors into the right wing position, then comes infield into the penalty area. A left-footed drive spilled by the goalkeeper, and they were quick to try and pounce on him, but he was quicker, and he smothered it at the second attempt. Ospina is brought down by Moses, faced up immediately by Maitland-Niles, who's made a slip, and that's allowed Moses a space to get into the area. He drives the ball hard and low, and then at the second attempt it's popped off by the goalkeeper and makes a good save. It comes out into the 18-yard box. There's no one there to bury it. Tackled by Christensen, but still Iwobi's got it. He dances forward, he moves to the edge of the area, plays it behind Welbeck. Clearance isn't great, comes back to Iwobi, shoots, good save by Thibaut Courtois. Filicueta provides him an outlet. He then sends a cross into Fabregas with a header, and it's planted straight into the arms of Ospina, who only had to take one step to the right to catch it, but it was a delicious ball from Filicueta. He picked out Fabregas. Fabregas might be disappointed he didn't put it either side of the goalie.
Hello, reception.
Hi, can I get some more shower gels for room 121?
Certainly.
Oh, and another notepad and pen.
Sure.
And a shaving kit.
Okay.
And another chocolate for my pillow. Sorry, both pillows.
Like getting your money's worth? Enjoy the delicious mayo chicken. Just 99p from the McDonald's Saver menu. From 10:30am, price and participation may vary.
The Winter Survival Deal from Domino's. Any large pizza, garlic pizza bread, wedges and cookies for $15.99. It's the official food of getting ready to go out on the town. But it's also the official food of getting ready to go into hibernation and see out the rest of the winter months wrapped in a duvet on the sofa, like some kind of domesticated millennial grizzly bear. Domino's, the official food of everything.
Subject to availability. Participating stores only. T's and C's apply. See dominoes.co.uk.
Are you stuck right now, going nowhere fast? It's not the congestion holding you back, or the endless red lights. It's the voice in your head. The voice that says, hit snooze. Or, do it tomorrow. Don't listen to that voice. Listen to mine. Find a workout that works for you at Virgin Active and pay nothing until February. Then this time tomorrow, you will feel magnificent. No excuses. Join by the 17th of January 2018 at virginactive.co.uk. 12-month minimum contract. Conditions apply.
I'm Jane, the IT support here. Everyone thinks they know me. But when people ask, how was your weekend? I say I was loading international aid onto a transport plane. You should see their faces. As an RAF reserve, I get paid to get out with the full-timers. And they're training me up to manage a team. Last week, my commanding officer asked me to green light takeoff. It doesn't get much better than that.
Make your spare time count with over 40 roles. Commit only 27 days a year. Search RAF Reserves.
Make a fresh start to the new year for less with the Fresh Start sale, now on at Wilko. Keep cosy with our half-price Wilko waffle throw. Was £16, now just £8. Pick up a large Wilko ottoman, super for storage. Was £22, now just £17. And cook fresh with selected Pyrex kitchenware, now half price or better. Find more offers in store and loads more you'll love at wilko.com. Subject to availability, online delivery charges may apply.
Don't miss Chelsea versus Norwich City on Wednesday the 17th of January in the Emirates FA Cup third round replay at Stamford Bridge. Tickets are priced just £30 adults, £15 kids, subject to a £1.50 booking fee per ticket and available from chelseafc.com or by ringing 0371 811 1905. Chelsea versus Norwich City in the Emirates FA Cup, Wednesday the 17th of January. To get your tickets, visit chelseafc.com today.
Every new year, someone tells you what to do. The papers said get fit. Blogs said get more sleep. I say get lost in a country I've never been to. He said this, she said that. I say a Rona. Do your thing with £1,000 off the list price of a new Seat, including the new Arona compact SUV at the Fresh Start Savings event. Download your £1,000 voucher at seat.co.uk to use on top of existing offers before 22nd of January.
Orders until 22nd January 2018. Car must be registered between 1st of January and 30th of September 2018. UK 18+. Retail sales of new cars at participating retailers only. Excludes £500 test drive and scrappage incentive scheme. T's and C's apply.
Sunbet, the no-nonsense betting site from The Sun. Hundreds of markets, live bets and legendary Sun boosts with enhanced sporting odds. Sign up now, enter promo code TALKSPORT and get a free Sunbets £10 bet when you deposit and bet £5. Sunbet from The Sun. Is it that easy? You betcha. Free bet expires after 30 days. New customers only. Winnings exclude stake. See sunbets.co.uk for terms and conditions. 18+ gamble aware.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
Well, welcome back to Stamford Bridge. Joe Cole has been the guest of honour on the pitch at half-time. He's got his Peaky Blinders stuff on, looking at a top man. Is Joe Cole down there, Sam, you're just back with his Peaky Blinders cap on. I thought they would look more like Gilbo Sullivan, but you won't even remember him. But I've actually been disappointed with Chelsea thinking about it in that first half. I think they're going through a little, not the greatest patch of football that I've seen them play this season.
But the results have been okay, haven't they, recently? They've been
okay,
but they
just don't look as crisp as I've seen them.
But I think I mentioned this before the Christmas period. The games that they had over that Christmas period, apart from the Arsenal game, were games that they would be expected to pick 3 points up in. Didn't happen in all of them, but it did happen in most of them. Obviously, after dropping points against Arsenal, draws are no good for them at this stage of the season. They're not going to catch Manchester City, but they're now trying to just play for one of those places in the top four.
You know, the Champions League, and we know the draw, of course, and everything. I don't know what the thought is about that, really.
About what?
Champions League and what's to come.
What, with Barcelona?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be difficult for them, but, you know, Antonio Conte will have a tactical plan. And, you know, he's not going to just give it up and think, oh, we're not going to go there and get anything. Chelsea have previously gone to Barcelona and played very well. In fact, they've got a good history against Barcelona, really. I mean, it's quite a rich history now, going back to the days of Tom Henning-Øvrebø, the referee who denied them about 6 penalties here one night in the second leg of a semi-final. And then, of course, the big nights in 2012 when Fernando Torres scored and Messi missed a penalty and Chelsea went through to the final of the competition. So, you know, look, they're expected to go there with a plan. It's going to be difficult. Barcelona romping La Liga. They'll fancy their chances against Chelsea, but we shall see, especially, you know, especially with the way Chelsea are playing at the moment. They're going to have to score goals against Barcelona in order to get through. They don't look like scoring against Arsenal, and Arsenal, as we mentioned earlier, are missing some of their best players right now, especially defensively. You know, Koscielny's missing, Monreal's out with an injury, Ramsey's out with an injury, Özil and Sanchez are not available tonight for whatever reason. But, you know, Chelsea are unbeaten in 7 games against Barcelona in the Champions League, so they will cross their fingers and hope that they can get through.
Lacazette, who's not had a good run in the side this season for Arsenal, he looks like a player to me that that needs to be given that sort of, you're starting for the next month. Give me what you've got. Let's really see, because...
Well, I feel like he's got the manager's full confidence.
I think so.
Because there's been a couple of games this season, the bigger games, he's been left out of.
Yes.
And that must have affected him. You know, you feel as though you've been bought for big money, you've come in as that number one striker, and all of a sudden you're being left out of the big matches. I think sometimes then you don't feel as though you've got the manager's full backing.
I think as well, with the chance that he had, it was just that...
Well, he snatched at it, didn't he?
Well, he snatched at it, but I think at the same time as snatching at it as well, that little bit of panic, because it's not... The calmness of brain with the reaction of just not quite on it, just not there. I mean, if
a man desperate for a goal.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
Is there anything to suggest that maybe these two teams also have both played a lot of football?
Yeah,
I
think everybody's a little bit jaded. I understand that.
They've made 9 changes.
Yeah,
Chelsea from the weekend.
Yeah, they're not that jaded.
They've made 6. Arsenal made 6. That's 15 of the 22.
What are we saying? They're not jaded at all.
You changed your mind pretty quickly then, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose so. My show, I could do it. It's Sam Matterface and Matt Holland.
Well, Chelsea do love the latter stages of this competition. They've won 4 of their last 5 semi-final ties. The only one they lost recently was against Swansea here in January 2013. Rafa Benitez was in charge, still getting to grips with things. Danny Graham scored the goal that night. We were here, we brought it to you live on Talk Sport. And again, we're bringing you live coverage of the Carabao Cup tonight, and of course right the way through to its conclusion on February the 25th at Wembley. And these two teams would love to be there, because realistically this is a great chance of winning silverware. Chelsea starting the second half and coming forward quickly with Hazard, then Moses down the right hand side, and then his cross is blocked. It goes out for a corner, and it's away on this near side, the right. The combination between Morata and Hazard set that up again before it went out wide to Moses, who won the corner.
Yeah, in actual fact, it was a good recovery from Rob Holding as well, because he just got a bit too tight to Hazard, allowed him to spin in behind him, but he did well to recover.
Fabregas into the near post, missed by Alonso, comes through to N'Golo Conte, who hits his own player Andreas Christensen, which stops it from flying into the net. It comes out to the right side, and Fabregas, he gives it to Hazard. Hazard takes a couple of touches, produces a decent cross. It's aimed in towards Morata, but headed away. Still loose inside the Arsenal penalty area. Rudiger is there. He tries to turn. He sends it forward. It takes a deflection off Bellerin. It's out for a corner over on the far side, and it's a fast start to the second 45 by Chelsea.
That was travelling. That was travelling from Conte at the edge of the box. He struck that brilliantly. Christensen, it came in so quickly he couldn't get out of the way.
Corner taken short. Fabregas to Hazard, then Conte. A cross which is flicked on towards Christensen at the back post by Alonso, and Christensen dives forward, looking for his first Chelsea goal, but steers it over the top.
Under a little bit of pressure, I think, from Granit Xhaka at the far post. Mustafi, in actual fact, at the far post. But 4 yards out, should have scored.
No changes from both teams at half-time. Chelsea with Courtois in goal, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Christensen as the back 3. Moses, Fabregas, Conte, Drinkwater and Alonso in midfield, with Morata and Hazard up top. They're wearing blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks, shooting now from left to right towards the Matthew Harding stand. Arsenal, Ospina in goal. Chambers, Mustafi and Holding. Bellerin and Maitland-Niles are the wing-backs. Then it's Wilshere and Xhaka, Iwobi and Welbeck and Lacazette leading the line in those traditional colours. White sleeved shirts with red bodies and white shorts, red socks, shooting from right to left towards their supporters. And they're away to our left hand side. So it's not a complete sellout tonight here at Stamford Bridge. I don't know if any of that's to do with the segregation. There's quite a lot of segregation at the end, away to our left, the shed end. The last 10 rows going down to 5 rows. It goes down as a sort of cheese wedge to stop the two sets of fans being too close to one another. And then there's a big portion away to our left-hand side as well, where the first 3 or 4 rows of the top tier of the shed end are not occupied, so nothing can be launched onto the Arsenal fans below. Here's Jack Wilshere in midfield. Chelsea give the ball away far too cheaply, and Wilshere turns it over, runs up to Iwobi. Iwobi wanders into the centre circle before being confronted by N'Golo Conte, who only really scores against Leicester and Manchester United, so it was no surprise that Christensen stopped his effort. And Arsenal progressed down the right touchline. Lacazette back to Xhaka, and then it's on to Iwobi, wandering forward and trying to find Welbeck. It wasn't a great pass into Welbeck, who hasn't seen much of the ball in the game. Hasn't started very often in the match recently, but has started tonight. Here is Fabregas trying to send it forward. He doesn't catch it at all well, and it flies off his boot and out for a throw over on the far side.
In actual fact, with that Arsenal front three, it's Iwobi who's probably been the most effective. He's been the best at running with the ball and trying to commit one of the Chelsea defenders. The other two, Lacazette and Welbeck, have been pretty quiet.
Welbeck's been pretty much used as a substitute in the Premier League recently. He did score when starting in the FA Cup on Sunday. He's got 5 goals this season, and has yet really to bare his teeth tonight. And we've played just over 4 minutes of the second half in the Carabao Cup semi-final, and it's 0-0 between Chelsea and Arsenal. Still City derby Friday night for you. Saturday, loads of football starting at midday on TalkSport 2. We've got live Premier League commentary at 3 there as well. On TalkSport, Matchday Live is on air at the normal time around the grounds as usual. And then I'll be back at 5:30 with Tottenham against Everton. It's Bournemouth-Arsenal Sunday. Here's Morata. Quick turn and tries to fire it into Hazard. Didn't get that right, Alvaro Morata, and a bit of frustration emanates from the East Stand down below us. We're high up in the top of the huge, gigantic East Stand, looking down on this glorious playing service as Fabregas comes forward down the left. He turns, twists and sends it into Morata, who chests it, helps it on to Hazard. Just took a bit of too much time to come down the ball from the sky, and that allowed Chambers to recover and clear forward from the right fullback position. Won again by Chelsea high up the pitch, firstly by Alonso, then it's on to Morata and then Hazard. Now Drinkwater. Moses down the right side for Chelsea. He's got 2 red shirts in front of them. Didn't really know what to do. Ran into Iwobi. They then give the ball away, Arsenal. Chelsea got it back. Drinkwater to Conte. And then it's out to the left and Alonso. Still N'Golo Conte has it. Tries to nudge it forward into the path of Hazard, but it's all tight and squeezed in the central area of that path, and they've lost it again. Wilshere dispossessed by Rudiger. He goes beyond Xhaka, who drags him down. That's going to be the first yellow card of the game, and a free kick to Chelsea just outside the box.
Well, in the space of less than a minute, Arsenal have given the ball away 3 times inside their own final third. They're trying to overplay, and Jack Wilshere eventually giving it away, trying to play a little 1-2 inside his own final third, and Chelsea are on the attack, giving away a free kick, and it's a dangerous position 25 yards from goal, but guilty of giving the ball away too cheaply again, Arsenal.
It was a mistake by Arsenal, and Chelsea have taken advantage, got themselves a free kick which is in Marco Alonso distance. I mentioned that he was in good goal scoring form recently. He scored against Arsenal in the meeting last week against them. Is this the right sort of angle for him, though, as a left footer, or is this more preferable for Cesc Fabregas?
Looks fairly central. I think it suit either of them, to be honest.
Well, Fabregas runs towards it, leaves it for Alonso, pops it against the wall. It takes a deflection. Hazard will allow this just to spiral out of play and go out for a corner. Number 7 tonight for Chelsea. They take it short again, and Fabregas tries to deliver it. Here's the first man, goes out of play. They're lacking a little bit of confidence, Chelsea, with their final ball. That seems to be where the quality is lacking. Ball is out over on the far touchline, and it's thrown in to Rudiger, looking for Christensen, who finds Azpilicueta. He now looks for that familiar route to Alvaro Morata. Doesn't work out this time, and Wilshere under pressure does well to pop it back to Holding, who then in turn does well to come back infield past Morata, play it across the face of goal to Mustafi, who's now under pressure. He's got to clear. Eventually he does, but he only finds Alonso, and it's turned over again. And here come Chelsea. Skating forward is Hazard. Fabregas back to Alonso, onto Drinkwater, who's in space, sets it, hand goes up, and was that blocked by Mustafi's hand? The referee thought that it was too close. Here's Moses on the right side, sending the ball goalwards, blocked by Maitland-Niles. Comes back to Drinkwater. First time ball cracks into Jack Wilshere, who stumbles, and it goes out and away for a corner kick for Chelsea.
I've got to be honest, it's a case of passing the buck really with Holding there. He did brilliantly just to work half a yard of space, look forward and play forward. He played a horrible short pass to Mustafi and put his teammate under pressure.
And that's invited this from Chelsea. Fabregas into the near post. Alonso went up, headed it down. It came to Morata. It hit him on the foot and it spiralled out of play. He wasn't ready for it. Maybe Alonso's run just distracted him a little bit. But there's a problem here for Jack Wilshere now. He got cracked by the ball on the edge of the penalty area and he hobbled away from that. And I wonder if there's an issue here with his knee.
Well, I think he was involved at the near post as well with Alonso, because Alonso made that run across the near post again. So I think he was involved in that at the near post as well. Another good run for Alonso, wasn't it, at that near post? He
really
does that
run.
Brilliantly across that near stick.
Yeah, and Chelsea have certainly put the pressure on in this second half. And it was Moses twisting and turning on this near side before shuffling the ball back to Gianni Drinkwater, whose effort cannoned off Jack Wilshere, and he got up hobbling away. His left leg seemed to be the problem. The Moose is now on the touchline. Let's see what the reaction has been.
Steve Bowles straight away turned around to Mohamed El-Neni and told him to warm up. So Per Mertesacker has sat down. If I'm honest, it doesn't look like Jack's coming off. It looks like he's just going to walk to the touchline before getting back on the pitch. But every time Jack Wilshere goes down, hearts in your mouth as an Arsenal and England fan. This is his 7th game, I think, 7th game in a row he started. And yet every time he goes down, you worry about whether he'll get back up again.
Yeah, we just had a quick look at the replay as well of that corner and Alonso making that run across him. It was more a case of Wilshere couldn't jump because of the injury, as you quite rightly pointed out, from that blocking Danny Drinkwater's cross.
And he's back on the pitch now, though, as we restart, and it's bobbling around on halfway. We played 10 minutes of the second half, and Arsenal have really hardly had a kick in the start of this second half. Chelsea have been much more focused than they were in the first half. A push by Lacazette on Azpilicueta, and a free kick is given. Only Liverpool have made more appearances in the semi-finals of the League Cup than Arsenal. Hasn't really made them any good at them, though. No side has been knocked out at this stage more often. And they've given the ball away again. Bellerin this time. A back heel from Hazard into Fabregas. Space for Morata. A right-footed shot saved by the goalkeeper. Comes back out towards Drinkwater before it reaches him. It's headed away by Mustafi. And they scramble it, Arsenal, to halfway. Good chance.
Another mistake. Bellerin this time, giving it away. Just quickly, I'll break off from that point because Jack Wilshere's down. He looks like his game's finished.
Well, the referee hasn't called a halt to proceedings. He will do now. Now, should he have done that? It's not a head injury. He's sitting down on the floor. Now, he sat down before the whistle was blown and play restarted. He's gone down. I think he's going to have to go off. Here's the Moose on the touchline.
Yeah, El-Neni's going to come on for him. El-Neni has now got stripped and got his shirt on. Jack has thrown the captain's armband to Mustafi. Arsene Wenger's, I'm looking at him now, he's looking stony-faced, no emotion. He's just taking a sip of tea, but this is not what he wants to see. Jack Wilshere coming off injured, and you only hope after what he's been through and how he's come back into the Arsenal team and captained him tonight, Sam, that it's not going to be anything long-term. But he doesn't look very happy, Jack, as he comes off, and Arsene Wenger just staring at him.
Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, but Arsenal have lost their captain, Jack Wilshere. So there's no Monreal, no Koscielny, no Ramsey, no Alexis Sanchez is on the bench, no Mesut Ozil tonight, and now no Jack Wilshere for Arsenal. Here's Morata getting the better of Mustafi into the area. Goalkeeper comes a long way and he feathers it at the tightest of angles along the goal line towards the goal, but he misses the target and it hits the side netting. It was a difficult chance. He wasn't expected to convert from that range. He was probably about 15 yards from the goal and a 3 or 4 degree angle, but he tried as Ospina rushed out to try and close him down, but it ended up in the side netting.
Tough chance, this one, but it was all his own doing as well. He used his body strength, spin the defender and get in on goal, and he won the ball ahead of the goalkeeper as well, just to poke it past him, but it was such a tight angle, really difficult. Arsenal are on the back foot at the start of this second half. Most of it's been their own doing, if we're honest, though. They've given the ball away at the back too many times, taking too many chances. It's almost like they're frightened of playing long at times, whether they don't feel like they've got the out ball with, say, Lacazette up top rather than Giroud. But they're trying to overplay at the times at the back, and Chelsea are pushing a bit higher, winning the ball further up the pitch.
And it's 0-0. Can Arsenal weather this storm? It is the only domestic trophy that Arsene Wenger has not won. Ball thrown down the touchline, headed away by Azpilicueta. Back to N'Golo Conte, and Chelsea again have possession once more here at Stamford Bridge tonight. They move down the left-hand side, infield it goes, and it's back towards Rudiger, and then all the way to Thibaut Courtois, long and lean in that bright yellow goalkeeping outfit. Christensen inside the D helps it on. Azpilicueta takes it back into Christensen. Christensen forward up to Morata, challenged from behind by Mustafi. Going to be a free kick.
Well, Morata's winning that battle at the moment with Mustafi. Mustafi's a bit over-eager to try and win the ball ahead of him. And even the chance that Morata had moments ago when he just slipped it past Ospina, he beat Mustafi too easily because Mustafi tried to win it in front of him and he spun him.
Conte picked the ball up in the centre circle. Fabregas wanted it played in. He's now wanted it played in twice to his feet over on that far side, the left. It hasn't come. Azpilicueta gets it and sends it towards Morata. Headed away, but it comes back to Chelsea again. Azpilicueta's got it once more. He sets, waits, didn't deliver, went short to Drinkwater. He's tight to the touchline on the right side. They go back to halfway and Conte, and then Rudiger midway inside opposition territory, goes back to Christensen.
Fourth officials just had a quick word with the Chelsea manager, Antonio Conte. I don't know that he's particularly happy with him coming outside of his technical area, but he's had one or two words with him.
Stay in your box, fella, might be the instruction to the Italian. Here is Christensen dripping it forward, looking for Morata. Header away by Mustafi. Drops to El Neni. El Neni, the substitute, shuffles it wide. Collected by Iwobi. His ball is just pinged forward into no man's land, and Chelsea get it back again.
No out ball, is there, for Arsenal right now?
None at all.
You think that was the ball as well, really? The one over the top, in the channel for Lacazette to run to. He didn't make the run.
Here's Morata dropping deep to pick it up. It's with Fabregas, who beautifully plays the ball out towards the far side. Now Marcos Alonso would usually control that. This occasion it came off his foot and went out and away for a throw-in. And Arsenal have it, and he miscontrolled that, Alonso, and he was disappointed. But it was a delightful ball by Fabregas, as it so often is. Playing against his former team tonight, of course, Cesc Fabregas. Started his career at Arsenal, his professional career anyway. Here is Welbeck onto Xhaka, looking for Welbeck again. Moses gets there, little header away, but only as far as Welbeck. Back out to the wide left position. It's aimed towards Welbeck again from Maitland-Niles. His cross, but out comes Courtois, gathers it, pulls it into his chest, and manages to clear through the middle of the park. Picked up by Fabregas. Conte out to the right. Maybe there's a bit more zip about this game in the last half an hour of it. We played 15 minutes of the second half. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Lacazette beaten to it by Azpilicueta. Moses forward. Doesn't go anywhere near a blue shirt, but the clearance from Arsenal does. And Hazard has sent it on to Morata, who's running at 5 defenders. And Xhaka makes a really good tackle. Tracking back, getting just enough in front of Morata to make it possible to win the ball. He did that and came away with it.
Yeah, look, it was difficult for him again. I mean, the crowd are getting on his back a little bit at the moment, Alvaro Morata. I feel a bit for him because he was running at 4 Arsenal defenders. But Mustafi made it easy for him again because he tried to read a situation, thinking Morata was going to play Hazard in, tried to read it, and the space was there for Morata to run again.
Well, Chelsea don't want to get on Morata's back too much. They need him. And they need to make him feel like he's not only wanted, but he's king of the land, because otherwise the goals are going to dry up. He's got 12 so far this season for Chelsea. There's not many that are getting up into that sort of echelons. Nobody else has got double figures this campaign yet, which is will be a bit of a worry. Here is El Neni over on the far side. Oh, he's miscontrolled it. That's gone out of play over on the far touchline, and the Egyptian has given Chelsea possession once again. Every time you think for a second Arsenal have got them trapped inside their own half, Chelsea, they conspire to give the ball back to them. And that's certainly been prevalent in this second half. 63 gone. TalkSport live in the Carabao Cup, the semi-final, second leg. Willian warming up down in front of us. Pedro with his pace might be an option for Chelsea.
It's getting to that point now, isn't it, where the managers will be thinking, how can we change it? Who's going to make a difference? Looking at their bench. And Willian, I felt against Norwich at the weekend, was probably their best player and looked the most likely in that game.
Sanchez warming up as well for Arsenal. Down on the right, Drinkwater's got it though, from Moses. It comes back to Azpilicueta.
He's just got the nod, Alexis Sanchez. Steve Bold has just given him the nod down the touchline.
Drinkwater onto Moses. We'll be seeing Sanchez soon. goes on the outside, then turns, comes back. Ooh, not a great ball to Drinkwater. Welbeck couldn't get there. Azpilicueta's cross is cut out by Mustafi, who was miles away from Morata, but won by Azpilicueta again, and Hazard's got it. Then Drinkwater, centre circle now with Rudiger. Chelsea still in possession here. Arsenal with everyone behind the ball. It's Conte, back to Azpilicueta, looks up, sends it forward. It's a delightful little cross into an area where blue shirts were attacking, and Fabregas actually was getting up closest to Morata, and he was the one who was going to, if anyone, get on the end of it.
Such a dangerous ball. He's put 3 or 4 of those in already this evening, done it on numerous occasions throughout the course of the season as well.
Well, his last goal himself was a header against Watford, but his combination with Morata is almost telepathic. It's like he sets off and knows where he's going to be, his compatriot, before he's even looked up and glanced to find out the geography. Here is Azpilicueta again. Goes down the side to Moses. His first time touch takes it to Drinkwater. Goes for the return, Victor Moses, but Drinkwater plays it against Holding, gets it back again. Hazard, Conte flicking it forward, takes a deflection, hooked away by Welbeck. They're camped on the edge of their area again. Arsenal here. Azpilicueta, Drinkwater, then on to Moses, tight to the touchline. It's back with Azpilicueta, who sends it down the right. Drinkwater hesitated and then runs, and then Holding gets there first, and then it's a poor clearance straight back to Moses, edge of the area, finds Hazard, shifts it onto his right foot, finds Drinkwater, he delivers a cross, it's headed away. It wasn't a great delivery from Drinkwater, it comes out as far as Welbeck, and Arsenal look to clear, look to run it away, but Welbeck has found Azpilicueta.
Just can't get out, Arsenal. They've got everyone behind the ball. I mean, Holding again does the first bit brilliantly. He lifted the ball over the top of the advancing Chelsea player and then gave it straight back to them.
Right, let's go down to the touchline. The Moose has got details of a big substitution for Arsenal.
I certainly have. Alexis Sanchez is coming on, and off is coming Alexander Lacazette. And news on Jack Wilshere, by the way, he is just literally in the last 30 seconds returned to the Arsenal bench. He was given a big bag of ice, which I presume he's got on his knee right now, but Jack Wilshere is back on the Arsenal bench, watching from the sides as Sanchez comes on.
Cheers, Moose. Here's the free kick for Chelsea. Fabregas to take it. 10 yards outside the area, right side. It's a deep one towards the far post. Rudiger underneath it, but doesn't get there. Chambers does, flicks it away. Alonso will recycle this with a cross towards the far post. It comes all the way through to Moses, who lashes it goalwards. Oh, a little deflection off an outstretched boot from Mustafi. Sends it spiralling into the sky and out for a corner kick to Chelsea.
Not exactly sure it was going in. He might have been just drifting wide. It was going to be close, that's for sure. He caught it well enough, Victor Moses, and it was a good block from Mustafi. Ospina was behind him, may have made the save anyway.
Here's the corner. It's aimed over the goalkeeper's head, and Christensen is there with a free header, and he misses the target. Well, Ospina came such a long way, got nowhere near it, and Christensen couldn't believe his luck when it hit him on the head.
Well, he's looking at the referee, Martin Atkinson, for a bit of help, Ospina. Like you say, he got nowhere near it, and an open goal. And he 5 yards out, if that, and he heads it wide of the post. Ospina's got away with one.
Chelsea going to make a change in just a second. It looks like they're going to bring on a Brazilian. Let's go down to the Moose, who has the details.
Yeah, Williams about to come on. I suspect he'll be a midfield player who comes off, and he'll probably go 4-3-3, Sam.
I think Chelsea are going to go for it. Let's see what happens. That's Azpilicueta under pressure from Alexis Sanchez, tucks it out towards this near side.
That's got to be the right call, hasn't it, from Antonio Conte? The home leg, you're on top. You're dominating the game. It's exactly that. Danny Drinkwater makes way. He hasn't had his best game tonight, Danny Drinkwater, but he makes way now for Willian. It is an attacking change from the Chelsea manager.
It certainly is. And Willian, who's got 7 goals this season and 6 in his last 14, has started to come into form. Matt and I saw him at the weekend, and he's certainly brightened Chelsea up. In the second half, they played well for about 15-20 minutes in that game, and he was at the heart of everything, wasn't he?
He certainly was, yeah. A good change that, I think, from the Chelsea boss.
Well, he's on the field now, and he's going to go, I think, in a 2 behind Alvaro Morata with Hazard, and Chelsea will just have Fabregas and Conte in that central midfield area. Alexis Sanchez trying to win it. Conte does win it. Sanchez has got it back though in the heart of the Chelsea midfield. Out on the right hand side, Alexis Sanchez tries to pop a ball over the top for the run from Bellerin, but it's cut out by Marcos Alonso after a little deflection. And now Fabregas has been played in by Hazard on the half turn. It's gone out wide to Morata. Loads of space for Willian far side if Morata can find him. It comes through to Hazard instead, inside the D, sends the defender onto his backside, then tries to pop it off to Willian, but gives it straight to Maitland-Niles, and all the hard work comes to nothing.
That was a great chance on the counter-attack from Chelsea. An Arsenal man down again inside their own box, and that's the boos you can hear from the Chelsea fans because of that. They got a bit fortunate because Morata's ball through to Fabregas ended up at the feet of Hazard. A little shimmy, a little sidestep, and you're thinking, get your shot away. Couldn't quite get out of his feet to get his shot on goal.
Well, there was a chance for Chelsea on the counter-attack. They moved it really well out to Morata. There was so much space for Willian if they could have just got the ball across, but I think it might have been difficult from where he was, Morata, to spot that and execute it.
Yeah, there's two Arsenal players ahead of him. He was trying to play it through the two of them, wasn't he, just to get it to Fabregas. But a little deflection actually aided him because it moved it into the path of Hazard. And once he'd done one dummy, you're thinking, right, that's the time to get your shot away. Just one more touch, and all of a sudden, Arsenal players got around him.
Approaching the 70th minute mark, you're listening to Talk Sport in the Carabao Cup. Tomorrow, Alan Brazil is back on breakfast, reviewing all the action from tonight. I'm sure he'll have a view on why Alexis Sanchez didn't start this evening. That will be discussed firmly tomorrow morning between 6 and 10 on the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. And we've got live football returning to you on Friday night with the Steel City derby. Neil Redfern, Nigel Adderley, Mark Saggers, your team, as we bring you live coverage from the EFL Championship. All the football, all the time, more than anybody else. It is Talk Sport and Talk Sport 2.
It's another injury worry, isn't it, for Arsenal? It's Callum Chambers who's making his way off the pitch, but he looks like he'll be OK to continue.
Can't afford to lose another central defender, can they? They do have young Mavropanos, who they've just bought in the January transfer window, on the bench. Not really the environment you want to make your debut in, I don't think. Chambers is back on now, moving a little bit freer. Here is Conte out towards the far touchline where it's collected by Alonso. N'Golo Conte again, all the way back to Andreas Christensen, who had a chance to get on the score sheet for Chelsea for the first time twice in this match now. Ball is out to the left, collected by Fabregas, waits, brings it down, looks for the right arrival. Alonso then takes it on, sends it back to Conte. Conte then on to Fabregas once again. He turns and plays it into Willian. Willian's got space for Moses' right side. He uses him now. He runs towards the edge of the area, goes on the outside, a low cross, whipping his foot round the defender, and then there's a real calamity of an attempt to try and clear it by Arsenal, and the ball goes away for a free kick to the Gunners because of an offside against Alonso, who's chasing back from an offside position. He's complaining that actually it was an Arsenal man who kicked it last, so how can it be offside? But it was in an offside position when the ball was played.
Hesitant defending again from Arsenal. This time it was Holding once more, who just took too long really to make his clearance. I mean, Chelsea are dominating the ball now. They're forcing Arsenal back, and Azpilicueta's getting further and further forward. The way that Arsenal is set up, Welbeck's having to do an awful lot of defending, and Azpilicueta's got acres of space to come into and deliver those dangerous crosses that we've seen throughout this game.
Well, Gary Cahill said last week that the game could have finished 6-6, which wasn't ideal for defenders. Arsenal came into this game with the worst defensive record in the Premier League top 7, and they conceded 4 against Forest on Sunday, but Chelsea still haven't managed to score against them, and they'll be disappointed if they don't, especially with the dominance they've had in the second half. You'll be able to have your say on the sports bar after the game. Here's Iwobi charging forward, trying to get to the edge of the area. Oh, and it just pokes it into the arms of Courtois. Well, he went running 25 yards with the ball there, opened up the Chelsea defence. They're on the back foot. He gets to the edge of the area, and he just pokes it forward into the arms of Courtois with little or no resistance.
Well, 4 against 4 for a period as well. I mean, the word is timid. That's what it is. I mean, you're in on goal, a bit of confidence about yourself and deliver a decent strike.
Willian down the right for Chelsea, trying to get the ball square into the box. He gets to the byline, can't get the crossing, goes behind away for a goal kick. And I mentioned the sports bar is on after us tonight. Stuart Robson and Andy Goldstein are taking your calls from 10 o'clock tonight. 08717223344, the number to have your say on national radio. And joining them tonight, Amir Khan is on the programme following his new deal with Matchroom Boxing. He signed a 3-fight deal today. And we'll be speaking to Amir tonight on the sports bar. So make sure you join Andy and Stuart Robson for that. I'm sure that Stuart will have an interesting view on this tactical battle between these two teams as well. We're in the 74th minute of the encounter and we are still goalless. And Arsenal, who usually have a tricky time here, haven't beaten Chelsea since 2011 at Stamford Bridge. And will be happy with their lot, I think, should they go back unbreached. Because Chelsea really have been the dominant force in the second half after what was a neutral first 45.
Oh, they've been the better side, saying it's not been vintage Chelsea, though. No. It's not as if they've opened up Arsenal every time they've gone forward.
They've just been a little bit more aggressive. And Arsenal have been a little bit clumsy at the back.
Yeah, they've played further up the pitch. They've tried to win the ball back higher up. They've pressed a bit quicker. So they have been better. Still not vintage Chelsea.
Here's Alonso, far side, the Chelsea left, and Christensen being hounded by Sanchez. He manages to tuck it back to Rudiger. Courtois is going to have to clear upfield. Long with his left boot, looking for Morata. The header by Chambers is stopped because there was an offside against Morata. And it's a free kick to Arsenal inside their own half. Just looking at the statistics, Chelsea 8 attempts on goal in the second half, but only 1 on target.
Yeah, that says it all, doesn't it?
Here is Hazard picking the ball up on halfway after good work from Azpilicueta, who gets it back on the right side. He needs to get a decent cross in. He looks for Morata, but it's well positioned by Mustafi. He gets it clear. Not great defending again because Arsenal have given it away on the edge of the box once more. And Hazard's got it from Willian. Now Alonso, left side for Chelsea, trying to turn. He's got the referee in his way, so he goes forward to Fabregas, who stands, wins it, gives it to Willian, who drives the ball towards the near post. And it was a bit of one for the cameras from Ospina, because it was well struck by Willian, but it was never really troubling him as he moved to his left-hand side.
No, it's another shot on target. It's made the goalkeeper work, but it wasn't too strenuous for Ospina. I mean, it was a long way out, and it was a comfortable height, not too much pace on it. Fairly easy save.
And when you look at the stats later, you'll see that Chelsea have had a lot of shots on goal, but they haven't really panicked Ospina too often. Diagonal ball forward looking for Sanchez is cut out by Rudiger. Then Alonso sends it forward. Morata's touches into a crowded, congested centre circle full of red shirts, and he's given possession up once again. 15 minutes to go. And Chelsea looking to try and find a way through the Arsenal defence. Will be reminded that in each of their 3 EFL Cup ties this season have conceded a 90th minute goal. And they will be concerned about that as the ball comes forward by Mustafi, the same towards Sanchez, who's offside, and Chelsea have the ball back again. This is not ideal for Antonio Conte to go back for a second leg of the semi-final, knowing that he needs to score.
Look, they scored twice there last week. It wouldn't.
Morata helps it on to Hazard round the corner. He charges into the box. He tries to send it through the 6-yard area. Good recovery tackle by Holding, who does well to get in front of Willian and stops it from reaching the Brazilian. It's back out to Fabregas, on to Hazard. Hazard trying to turn. Sanchez trying to run away now to make defence into attack. Lovely balance, lovely twist. He tries to feed Welbeck, but it's blocked by the Chelsea defence. I think N'Golo Conte was the man who stopped them, and it's cleared away by Chelsea once more. Alonso, loads of space for him to run into, starting to open up again, and he's drive the ball forward, but again it's with no real purpose, and it's an easy catch for David Ospina.
To be honest, you can understand why he took the shot on. He didn't have an awful lot ahead of him. Weren't many options. Morata was pulling on the edge of the box, maybe for a pullback, but generally didn't have a great deal on Alonso. Worth going for goal. Arsenal, I mean, in terms of hold-up play, that was better, wasn't it, from Alexis Sanchez? He almost found Welbeck.
Here he is again, just inside the Chelsea half, wandering forward, trying to poke it beyond Fabregas, who stops him at source. It comes back to Alexis Sanchez, out wide right to Iwobi, and then on to Sanchez once again. We've got just 13 minutes remaining on Talk Sport, and it is Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Here's Iwobi onto Welbeck, tries to turn, takes too many touches, and then twists and smashes the ball goalwards, but it's blocked by Azpilicueta. And when he hit the ball goalwards, he was off balance, and there was no real power in it. And it's a shot that went begging in the end.
I tell you what, it's brilliant defending again from Azpilicueta. I thought he'd been twisted and turned there, and he managed to recover and get the block in.
Long ball forward to Morata. Morata has got there, and the Arsenal defence allowing it to bounce on the edge of their own penalty area, causing themselves a bit of an issue. Morata, I think if he'd been sharper there, might have been able to turn and get in between the two centre-backs.
He almost forgot about the ball. He was more worried about where the Arsenal defenders were rather than the ball itself.
It was a really strange passage of play where no one really attacked the ball and was just looking at the other players on the pitch. Here's Alonso, left wing position, sends it clear up to halfway. Hazard allows it to hit him. Morata then comes across with his body, uses his body well, draws the foul from Xhaka, who has already been booked and has got to be a bit careful, and a free kick has been given. Especially seeing as Arsenal always seem to get a player sent off here. They've had 3 sent off in their last 5 trips to Stamford Bridge. Here is Azpilicueta. Back to Conte, and then he gets it on halfway. Some of the passing's been really sloppy. And I mentioned the fatigue thing at half-time. I do think it probably takes its toll. Conte's been booked for a challenge on Welbeck there.
And by the way, he could have been booked earlier in the first half as well.
Could have been, yeah.
So, could have been sent off, couldn't he?
And they've got so many games, Chelsea, coming up before the end of January. Before the end of January, Leicester, Norwich, Brighton, Arsenal and Bournemouth all to play.
Price of success. That's what happens when you're doing well in competitions
or not, because you've got to play replays like the one against Norwich.
That's why you have a squad.
Here is Sanchez delivering the ball towards the far post, and I'll tell you what, if he'd been a little bit more accurate with that, Mustafi was in, actually ended up drifting out for a goal kick, but Mustafi had breached the line and was in behind.
Got round the back of Marcus Alonso. Marcus Alonso was the man tasked with keeping an eye on him. Let him run in behind him though.
Morata bringing the ball down on halfway. 10 minutes to go. Is there going to be a decisive moment? He plays a crossfield ball which Moses chases. Maitland-Niles gets there and tidies up for Arsenal. Ospina under pressure clears. High up towards the halfway line. Rudiger puts pressure on Iwobi. It goes out of play. Little touch from Rudiger. It's going to be a throw into Arsenal. If you're going to nominate the best Arsenal player on the pitch, would Maitland-Niles be high up there?
No, I don't think so. Crikey. I mean, defensively, they've done OK. The back three, actually, have done all right. I mean, they've given the ball away too cheaply at times. Holding's been a bit hesitant in possession of the ball. But in terms of the defending, it's been pretty good. Mustafi's, at times, tried to win it too often in front of Morata. Difficult to pick their best player. I mean, going forward, I thought Iwobi the first hour looked the most likely.
I think that probably tells you it hasn't been a classic game. Here's Willian on the near side for Chelsea. Moses sends it forward. No one underneath it.
And if I said that probably Azpilicueta's been Chelsea's best player,
that just underscores it.
Just about puts a full stop on it, doesn't it?
10 minutes to go before the end. Here is El Neni, hair flapping either side as he sends it forward looking for Sanchez. Well read by Azpilicueta, whose header away only finds Maitland-Niles. Chested down by Welbeck. Maitland-Niles has got it back again. It's now with Alexis Sanchez, who's just moving back towards the halfway line. El Neni sending it on, finding Iwobi. Iwobi to Bellerin. Bellerin back to Iwobi, and then it's left by Mustafi for Xhaka, and he's on halfway. Arsenal enjoying just a little bit of possession here. Holding, trying to wander down the left-hand side, but he's just going down a cul-de-sac, really. It was always going to go out of play, and it's out for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, get back in your position. You know, you've got a clean sheet. You're what, 82 minutes into the game. Don't get dragged out of position now and leave a bit of space for Chelsea to get in behind you.
Yeah, well, we had an explosion of events late on in the game and the Emirates a week ago. Could that happen here? Well, Fabregas is onside over on the far side, and he was chasing a long ball down towards the touchline, but then didn't really have the pace to keep up with it, and looked down straight away at the linesman, and his flag was down.
I wouldn't say it was his greatest strength, would you, Cesc Fabregas's pace? He was a fantastic passer, but he's not the quickest.
He's played a lot higher up the pitch in this second half, hasn't he, Cesc Fabregas? And I thought, actually, when they brought on Willian, he was going to be more defensive. But he's got up alongside Willian and Hazard to help Morata. Foul by Willian as Alexis Sanchez comes towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. A bit of crossing over meant that Alexis Sanchez went down. Free kick has been given. And Chelsea are going to make a change. Here's the Moose on the touchline.
Yeah, Bakayoko is coming on for Chelsea, and the man he's replacing is Eden Hazard. So I think Conte might be shoring this up now for a 0-0.
What's your reaction to that?
Not a lot, really. I mean, look, at home, surely you're desperately trying to get a win. I mean, it does take Hazard off most games. I don't get it, to be honest.
Well, they'll have to rely on Timwe Bakayoko now to add a bit of steel to that midfield, and another inspiration will be required. El Neni from the free kick tries a strike. It was a very odd way of taking a free kick, which almost caught the referee out, and he had to get out of the way. They've launched the ball back into the area. Might drop through Iwobi here. Bakayoko goes across and wins it. It's picked up by Morata. He's got to run it clear. There's no one ahead of him, so he's got to do it all on his own, so he just runs it out of play over on the far side.
I mean, Bakayoko might smash one in from 30 yards, but you have to say, you think that Hazard's more likely to score than him.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's been playing in a deeper position, Hazard, is it? He's been playing up front virtually, so...
No, and Chelsea are here at home at the weekend against Leicester. Maybe they are prioritising that fixture. Maybe he's resting him just ahead of it. I mean, he's just had a bit of an injury and he missed the game at the weekend as a result of that. But maybe he's protecting him. But it seems an odd decision to do, especially when he is by far, and we're talking by some severe distance, the most creative player in the Chelsea ranks. Chelsea have taken off their most creative player. Arsenal have brought theirs on in Alexis Sanchez. Here's Holding on the halfway line. Coming forward now and attacking the goal away to our left. It's picked up by Welbeck, who cuts in field. He's got a blue sea in front of him, but he goes wide to Bellerin. It's then picked up in the centre by Alexis Sanchez. So much space for El Neni out wide right. Didn't use him. It was sent towards the edge of the box and flicked into the air by Bakayoko. Rudiger manages to clear it, and it's out towards the far touchline again. Here is Sanchez flipping it forward to Welbeck. It drops on the edge of the Chelsea box. Smashed clear by Alonso. And now, for the first time really in the match, there's a bit of pressure for Chelsea to deal with. 5 to go. 0-0 the score. Here is Iwobi picking it up and wandering to the edge of the box. No one's got a tackle in on him here. He shuffles it on to Xhaka, who tries a shot which bounces in front of the goalkeeper and results in an easy catch.
They've weathered the storm, actually, Arsenal, because for half an hour it was all Chelsea. They were pinning Arsenal back, looked the most likely. I'm not saying it's just because Hazard's gone off, but they have got deeper and allowed Arsenal to come onto them.
Morata holding the ball up, fighting for it and doing well. He took it past El Neni, then he took it beyond Xhaka. El Neni tugged him back, yellow card. He did well there, Morata. He showed the fight to take the ball to Arsenal. And El Neni, who is the substitute, is in the referee's notebook. There's going to be another change. Here's the Moose.
Yeah, Morata's night is run, and Batshuayi is coming on. Unless one goes in off his backside, Sam, I suspect this is going to end 0-0.
Did score the goal that won them the Premier League, Moose, remember, last year against West Brom?
I spoke to Conte yesterday, and while being praiseful of Batshuayi, he wasn't overly forthcoming in his gushing praise of him, put it that way.
I think we are aware that he is not the manager's fancy. Here is the free kick. Fabregas onto Willian and then onto Fabregas again, who goes down. He's bundled to the floor. The referee doesn't give a penalty. Will he take advice? Doesn't look like it at the moment. He's not got his finger in his ear, and play continues. Well, that was interesting. I'd like to see a replay of that. Ball picked up by Conte on halfway. Ball out on the right side now with Moses. Chelsea coming forward. The referee did not even consult the VAR on that occasion. Here is Batshuayi. His first touch is to nudge it back to Conte, edge of the area. Now it's on to Willian. Down the right side is Fabregas. He's at the near post, Batshuayi, and it actually hit the post. Well, I think it took a little deflection on the way through off of the Arsenal defender. It went beyond Ospina and hit the foot of the post and went behind for a corner.
It was played onside by the Arsenal back through, and actually was able to get in behind so easily as well. Far too easily in behind that Arsenal defence.
Batshuayi is in the centre. Now the referee is now talking to the video assistant referee. His finger is in his ear. Now the play obviously hasn't restarted, so should there be a penalty kick for Chelsea, he could go back here. He might stick his hands into the air and do the rectangle single and go and consult the monitor. He is looking at the moment. I mean, we've had a look at it on our replays. It's Danny Welbeck, is it? Who comes across, says Fabregas. The referee is still consulting with his video assistant Neil Swarbrick and Mick McDonough, who is the assistant VAR in Stockley Park, about that decision. Martin Atkinson still taking advice now, and Azpilicueta is going over to ask how long and what's going on. He's the captain of Chelsea. We've had 37 seconds of delay here while they're consulting the video assistant referee, and the referee is now allowing play on. How long was that? 49 seconds. Here's the corner then, eventually. Fabregas to take it towards the penalty spot. Headed into the air. Batshuayi gets a reflex header, but it was a little bit behind him as it popped off the initial Chelsea offensive man, and it's headed behind and away for a goal kick.
Well, the observations are no penalty. Welbeck got the ball. I mean, I think he looked pretty sure that was the right decision anyway, didn't he, Martin Atkinson? But wanted to get clarification with the VAR.
I mean, he was pretty convinced right at the beginning not to give a penalty, and it was the right call. It was a good challenge.
He got the ball.
Antonio Conte was buzzing around inside the technical area there, doing the little rectangle sign for the screen. I think that's why he probably had to consult it, really, just to make sure.
He was just playing charades.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Antonio Conte was, you were playing charades with him, it'd be a nightmare. I mean, he'd go through about 50 movements. You'd never know what syllable he was on. We're into the final 30 seconds of the game, and it's 0-0. Hasn't been great, but it's a cagey first leg of a semi-final, and there might be more of the blockbuster to come in the second leg at the Emirates in a couple of weeks' time. Is there going to be late drama? Here's Fabregas from Moses' pass onto Willian, tight on the right side of the area. Arsenal look as if they're heading towards a clean sheet, despite not having the greatest defence in that top 7. Here is John Moss, the official. 5 minutes of added time at the end of the 90. Fabregas has made a mistake, giving the ball away. And it's popped off Sanchez and out for a throw on this near side.
Well, this is the second of a trilogy. Normally when they make a film, the second one's not as good as the first. Let's hope the third one's a bit better.
The grand finale. It's at the Emirates. It'll be live on TalkSport. Matt and I will be back for that one. Here is Fabregas into Willian, skips it between his own legs, looks up, chased by Maitland-Niles, holds him off. He's being dragged by Maitland-Niles. Free kick has been given. And they want a yellow card here, the Chelsea
judging by
support.
Judging by the cards he's given tonight, I mean, that is a yellow card.
Bakayoko is out towards the left-hand side. Rudiger plays it infield. It's aimed towards Batshuayi. Not going to get on the end of that. It's cleared away. Christensen back in the centre circle. Played the first of 5 added at the end of the 90 minutes here. They drew in September, they drew last week, and they're drawing tonight. They will be separated by hook or by crook when they meet in 2 weeks' time. And I suppose 0-0 means that if Chelsea score and it's level after extra time, Chelsea will have the away goal. And they'll go through. Here is N'Golo Conte finding Rudiger out wide to the right-hand side, where it's picked up by Marcus Alonso for Chelsea. Chelsea in possession right at the end of the game here. Conte, and again from Fabregas. Now Bakayoko. He gave it away. It's picked up by N'Golo Conte, but there was a bit of wrestling going on from Christensen, and Sanchez has won his team a free kick and taken the pressure off.
Just nervous in possession, isn't he, Bakayoko? Trying to do it too quickly. First time pass, gets it wrong.
It broke down too much with him in the game at Norwich. The game against Arsenal last week, I thought, especially later in the second half, too many times he gave the ball away. And unfortunately, I think he's another one who's lacking just a little bit of confidence right now. Ball sent forward by Ospina from the free kick, which was deep inside his own half. And it's picked up by Thibaut Courtois, and it's cleared away by Chelsea. 2.5 played in the stoppage time. Is there going to be a late surge here from Chelsea? Arsenal have been very compact. I mean, you can't see a winner in it, can you?
Not really, no. Chances have been at a premium, particularly in his last 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, here is Bellerin. His ball over the top is deep into the Chelsea half, but no one's going to latch on the end of that, and it's gobbled up by Thibaut Courtois, who's been persistently linked with a move to Real Madrid. And Chelsea won't want to lose him, and they sacrificed Petr Cech in order to bring him into the first team. And he was outstanding, Thibaut Courtois, in the game at the Emirates. Petr Cech wasn't bad either. Both goalkeepers had really good games, but Courtois had nothing to do tonight. Nothing. Ospina's definitely been the busier, but even he hasn't really been at full stretch. And it's been one of those games, really, where both these two teams have ended up cancelling themselves out. It was 0-0 in September. This has been very similar. Here is Xhaka stooping low to head back to Chambers, who clears. Conte picks it up and sends it to Rudiger. Rudiger under a bit of pressure from Iwobi. And it's all the way back to Courtois once again. It's not been pulsating this 90 minutes of football between Arsenal and Chelsea, that's for sure. Here's Alonso trying to get the wrong side of Bellerin, who recovers, sends it back to Chambers. He clears, and it's out for... actually, it's kept in by Rudiger over on the far side.
If it stays this way, Arsene Wenger and Arsenal will be the happier of the two.
Definitely. Conte in towards Fabregas. Willian up there trying to put pressure. Azpilicueta joining the attack. It's out to Moses on the near side. Azpilicueta looking to get it forward. Being pressurised by Welbeck. Fabregas too heavy for Moses to chase. Down into the right corridor, but it bounces out and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. And we've played 49 minutes 30 seconds, and I would probably suggest that will be that.
Yeah, and in the second leg, of course, Arsene Wenger back on the touchline, unless he does anything stupid.
Yeah.
In between now and then.
Unless you can't predict anything at the moment, but he would expect to be back in his regular seat. Certainly he won't have to sit alongside the Moose at the Emirates, which is always a bonus. He will have to talk to him tonight, though. And those interviews will be upcoming on the Sports Bar, where you can also have your say on the night's action. 08717 223344. Chelsea threatened to escape, but they won't be allowed to. The full-time whistle is going to go. Well, another episode of the trilogy comes to an end, but it's no blockbuster. It ends in a stalemate, and it means there's all to play for in 2 weeks' time at the Emirates. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
Sam Butterface and Matt Holland here tonight. Never really got going, Matt, did it in the end?
Sadly not, no.
Arsenal will be delighted, by the way.
Well, they'll be pleased. I mean, defensively, much better. They kept Chelsea at arm's length for most of it. They were 1 or 2 chances. Moses hit the post in the first half. Fabregas should have done better with a header. Christensen, actually, the opening goal when Ospina made a mistake coming out for a cross. But generally, I mean, they kept Chelsea at arm's length, so they'll be thrilled with that.
I've got some VAR information
no, please.
for you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Just to get some clarity, I've been in touch with the guys at Stockley Park, and just on the Moses tackle, the VAR would have said to Martin Atkinson, hold the restart, because the VAR wanted to check the replays. He was happy that it wasn't a clear and obvious error, and then after reviewing the replays a couple of times said check complete to the ref, and then they could continue. That's why there was the 50-second delay.
I've thought the VAR was important, but I don't like the hold-ups, I have to say, so far. Perhaps we'll all get used to them, but...
You either have the hold-ups or you don't have VAR.
Yeah, I know.
You can't have...
Oh, I want them both.
You can't have it turn around that quickly,
I know you can't.
It's called change, Sags.
No, I'm in for it. I'm up for it. I'm absolutely up for it, because I think there's been so much nonsense over wrong decisions. I don't think it'll help in the referees in the long term. I think we've just got to get used to it. I think perhaps there should be a time limit on how long they look at it, possibly. I wouldn't want to see him go on for 2-3 minutes.
But you've got to get the right decision. That's
you
the
have
thing.
got to get the right
decision. So if it means
Got
having
the right
at it
decision.
one extra time,
You know,
then I suppose...
no one's coming away tonight thinking we should have had 2 penalties. Chelsea aren't thinking that. Arsenal aren't thinking that. We're all going away believing that all the decisions were correct.
Everything was correct.
And that the 2 teams actually just couldn't find the back of the net. And didn't ever look like doing so.
No, they didn't as well. So it'll be Arsenal that'll be happier for that. But I don't know these days. I mean, you expect Chelsea to go there. As you said, they scored 2 the last time they were there. They won't worry too much about that. A totally different type of game to yesterday as well. But there we are. It's all to play for in a couple of weeks' time. It's on the Wednesday night as well. Again, and Matt and Sam will be alongside me at the Emirates for that one. I think perhaps the negative there for Arsenal will be Jack Wilshere. Just hope it was more impact than anything else, but who knows. Anyway, there we are. Well, everyone's drawn a blank here tonight. VAR drew a blank. So did both teams, and so did the Moose, because he hasn't got a picture with a man sitting 2 down from him. Good night.
Ball over the top by Arsenal, onto Lacazette on the right side, takes it on the volley, maybe a bit too early, and it skids off the outside of his boot and goes behind and away. Moses motors into the right wing position, then comes infield into the penalty area, a left-footed drive, spilt by the goalkeeper, and they were quick to try and pounce on him, but he was quicker, and he smothered it at the second attempt. Ospina is brought down by Moses, faced up immediately by Maitland-Niles, who's made a slip, and that's allowed Moses the space to get into the area. He drives the ball hard and low, and then at the second attempt it's popped off by the goalkeeper and makes a good save. It comes out into the 18-yard box, there's no one there to bury it. Tackled by Christensen, but still Iwobi's got it. He dances forward, he moves to the edge of the area, plays it behind Welbeck. Clearance isn't great, comes back to Iwobi, shoots, good save by Thibaut Courtois. Filicueta provides him an out there. He then sends a cross into Fabregas with a header, and it's planted straight into the arms of Ospina, who only had to take 1 step to the right to catch it, but it was a delicious ball from Filicueta. He picked out Fabregas. Fabregas might be disappointed he didn't put it either side of the goalie. Fabregas into the near post, missed by Alonso, comes through to N'Golo Conte, who hits his own player Andreas Christensen, which stops it from flying into the net. Fabregas to Hazard, then Conte, a cross which is flicked on towards Christensen at the back post by Alonso, and Christensen dives forward looking for his first Chelsea goal, but steers it over the top. They've given the ball away again. Bellerin this time, a back heel from Hazard into Fabregas, space for Morata, a right-footed shot saved by the goalkeeper, comes back out towards Drinkwater before it reaches him. It's headed away by Mustafi. Here's the corner. It's aimed over the goalkeeper's head, and Christensen is there with a free header, and he misses the target. Ospina came such a long way, got nowhere near it, and Christensen couldn't believe his luck when it hit him on the head. The full-time whistle is going to go. Well, another episode of the trilogy comes to an end, but it's no blockbuster. It ends in a stalemate, and it means there's all to play for in 2 weeks' time at the Emirates. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
Morning. Sorry, Stevie's a bit poorly, so we won't be coming to nursery today.
OK, thanks for letting us know.
So I brought Max instead. I packed his favourite toy. He normally naps twice a day and loves playing outside.
Like getting your money's worth? Try the delicious barbecue chicken BLC. Just $1.49 from the McDonald's Saver menu. From 10:30am, price and participation may vary.
The Winter Survival Deal from Domino's. Any large pizza, garlic pizza bread, wedges and cookies for $15.99. It's the official food of getting ready to go out on the town. But it's also the official food of getting ready to go into hibernation and see out the rest of the winter months wrapped in a duvet on the sofa, like some kind of domesticated millennial grizzly bear.